Broken Arrow Tiger football here on ArrowVision on this Friday night. Adam Hildebrand alongside Coach Steve Spavital as we get ready to bring you Broken Arrow and Jenks here from Jenks High School just across the Arkansas River. Spav, looking forward to getting back to some football tonight after a very long midseason break.
Oh, I tell you what, there's nothing better than having a Friday night football game. Just love it here right now, but you're right. You know, having the 2 weeks off, both teams had 2 weeks off, so it's going to be an interesting battle here tonight. Really nice night, a little breezy, but I don't think it's going to be a factor. Just really excited about being here.
Yeah, quite the journey for the Trojans to their extra week off. The Tigers last week knew on Monday that they weren't playing the following Friday, so they could already start game planning and looking ahead to Jenks. Jenks got all the way to Enid before realizing that they weren't eventually going to play their game, so they essentially got a long bus ride out of their practice last week. So we'll see if that plays any advantage into Broken Arrow's hands now. Along with that, some changes for the Tigers today. They're traveling a limited roster. There are some guys that are going to be taking over some different roles because of contact tracing and various things like that to try to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. So even though this game is being played, unlike last week's, there are still going to be some differences.
Yes, on both teams, I'm sure on both teams. I'm not sure how many that Jenks has affected Jenks, but I know some have. So I'm just not quite sure there, but it has affected us quite a bit. So this even makes it a more interesting battle. You know, just you got two equal teams here, and it's going to be fun to see what's going to happen here tonight.
These teams have met quite a few times now on the gridiron. All time, Jenks leads the series 50-30 with 3 ties as well, but the 30 victories for Broken Arrow and subsequent losses for Jenks, those are the most losses to any one school in the state for the Jenks Trojans.
Exactly.
So Broken Arrow certainly has had as much success as anybody against Jenks, and the Tigers will be looking to build off of what's been 3 consecutive wins in this series.
I know, and it's, you know, and it can be done and everything. I know I think Jenks is ranked higher than we are, but I'm telling you, it's a pretty equal match here. You're talking about Jenks having a great offense. They do a really good job, a good quarterback. You know, things are, Lore is a really tough runner. They do a good job running the football. And with this quarterback, they can throw the football a little bit. Now, you know, defensively for us, we have some issues. We've got to play well tonight. That's one of my keys. Defense has to play well tonight. It's so important right now when you face a great offense like this. Now, I think, you know, with their defense, our offense is going to have some fun too, because their defense is so geared to stopping the run. They come downhill fast. They zone pressure. They try to create a lot of turnovers. But I tell you what, they're very susceptible to the pass. And I think when you start running play actions, you start running bootlegs, you start running reverses even, things like that are going to catch them early. And that's what Coach Wilkinson needs to do. And he's a master at the play-action passing.
Those are your Matthews Ford keys to the game as Broken Arrow gets set to take on Jenks here at the home of the Trojans. Let's go down to the sidelines for the first time tonight, and our man Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan, you are across the field from us for the first time this season, but it looks like you've got a pretty good contingent of Broken Arrow fans that have made the trip over there with you.
Yeah, we have a really good showing. It's hard to tell. The stands themselves aren't marked, so people are just congregating. But it looks like honestly, probably one of the most normal feeling games that we've had, and that may just be the feel from not being here for 3 weeks or whatever. But a lot of fans. I talked to Coach Dunn before, athletic director, and he told me that all but 30 tickets were bought. So I think it was somewhere over 600 that will be here in attendance tonight. So really good energy from the fans, really good energy from the team on the field earlier tonight. I know a couple weeks ago against Owasso, it felt a little more tense. And tonight felt a lot of energy, heard a lot of chatter, guys yelling, guys talking. So I'm excited, and they seem excited.
You know, with a limited crowd, I mean, we brought a pretty good group here. We've got a pretty good group of kids or fans here to root us on for, you know, limited amount of tickets we had. So really proud of our fans for that.
Looking forward to what this game holds and how it unfolds. Spav mentioned a moment ago, Jenks ranked slightly higher than Broken Arrow. It's a 2-3 matchup, though, so you're kind of splitting hairs at that point with the two combined losses between these two teams. Broken Arrows came to Owasso, the #1 team in the state, and then Jenks' only loss came in a close game at Bixby. So it's not like those two losses came to poor competition by any stretch of the imagination.
Correct. I mean, none of them. Every opponent both of these teams have played have been top-notch opponents. So this is a great test. This is a big test for everything. I mean, just think about, with this test, Union's the first time they're 4-0. I mean, 0-4. I mean, when was the last time you seen that? I think it was back in 1980.
I was going to say, has that happened in the past?
I know, but you know what I'm saying? But they're playing tough opponents, and that's what you're getting this year.
The Tigers have taken the field here at Trimble Stadium, and Jenks will be joining them shortly. Broken Arrow with a limited roster today, more of a travel roster. Which is not uncommon necessarily, especially at the college level, but when you come across town, that's not always the case.
Well,
and
I tell you what, I always had a travel squad as well. I hated to do it because you want your players at these games. This is how they learn, just by watching sometimes. But the locker room spaces that you have at these visiting schools they're just unbelievably small, and it's just you can't get anybody in them.
As you see there, a bit of a march out of the tunnel from Jenks, not so much a sprint, locked arm in arm, a little bit more like the guys from the Spartans in the 300 movie than just a dead sprint. So anyway, Jenks and Broken Arrow coming at you here shortly on ArrowVision. Adam Hildebrandt alongside Coach Steve Spavital. We're happy to bring this one to you this evening from across the Arkansas River here in Jenks. Broken Arrow won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So the Tigers will be kicking off to start this game, and Jenks will have its first crack at the football. And Spav, you mentioned the Trojans quarterback, Stephen Kittleman, 38 for 69. That's 55%, but he's thrown for 555 yards and 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So he's had a solid start to the year.
And he's really a threat on it with his feet. He can run the football. I mean, he doesn't have design plays for quarterback run, but if we lose contain, he's out of the pocket, or he steps up in the pocket and there's a seam, he has some good feet that can run and can make some really good yardage for them. So really, you're talking about a good offense, and we have two good offenses out here. The defenses have to really battle here on both teams, and the one that battles the best is the one that's going to win this game.
Mason Garrett standing behind the ball, or what will soon be the ball, at his own 40-yard line. The Tigers will kick right to left to start this game off on your radio dial or computer screen, as it were. White jerseys with black numbers and gold trim, white pants and black helmets with the Broken Arrow BA logo on the side. Jenks maroon helmets, jerseys, and pants today. Jenks written across the side of the Trojans' helmets. Again, Garrett will be kicking right to left. That's south to north. As we get this top 3 matchup in the state kicked off. Garrett's kick is away. It's a good one, and it'll sail about 8 yards deep in the end zone, down for a touchback.
It's interesting. Let's see. We deferred. They took the ball. We kicked, so they're going against the wind here. So for the first quarter. So it's going to be interesting with this going against the wind. So they got the ball on the 20-yard line.
And it's not gale force winds right now, but certainly the flag's all fluttering in the breeze, so that could have an effect as we go throughout this game, especially in the kicking game as you go to the south and into that wind. Jenks will come out, looks like with a tight end on the left side. Receiver goes in motion right to left. Now we got a tight end and a fullback left side. One receiver split to either side, and it's Lohr behind the quarterback Kilman in the pistol. Here's the snap. Hand off to Lohr, left side, busting through the hole across the 20-yard line. Scampers through one tackler and then is wrapped up and brought down for a gain of 10 yards out to the 30-yard line. That should be enough for the first down. On the tackle there was Javion Franklin, who came up to make the stop. And they mark him just short. It'll be second down in inches.
Yeah, they ran a wing formation. They had a wing there, fullback in the wing, and he just ran outside of that. We were caught in movement inside of it, and he ran outside.
Second down and short here for Jenks. Split out to the right side is Jaden Patrick, the wide receiver. And a bunch formation left with a tight end, 2 tight ends, and a receiver. 1 tight end is off the line of scrimmage. Motion into the backfield. They hand it off straight up the middle to Lohr, who sidesteps a defender and then stumbles forward for a gain of nearly 5 yards, just shy of the 35-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Jenks Trojans, the first of the game for either squad. Nothing, as we've just gotten underway. We're nearly 1 minute into the game. Jenks hosting Broken Arrow tonight in a top 3 matchup in Class 6A1.
And this is what Jenks does well right now, running the football. You know, a lot of smoke and mirrors in the last one with the receiver motion and things. So they have a lot of things they can do off run, but they want to establish the run.
First and 10 from the 35. Ball near the left hash. Motion from right to left from the wide receiver, Patrick. He's now in the slot with another receiver split to the left of him. Shotgun formation this time for Kittleman. Takes a snap, drops the football. It was a muffed exchange. And I think Jenks got back on it, but that's a loss of 4 yards back to the 31-yard line, and that's a big advantage for this Broken Arrow defense.
Absolutely, especially with field position. But what they were trying to do is I think he was trying to pull it late, and the other one, and you can't do that, and that's going to create fumbles. So now we've got second long. We're forcing them to throw the football.
We may see a few things like that for both teams early on. Communication issues. You haven't played for 3 weeks. You got to knock a little bit of the rust back off.
And they're experimenting with each other. You notice they're changing the strength every down. They're in a different formation every snap.
Forbes split out. No, that's Adams split out right. They motion him into the backfield and hand it off over the left side. Forbes was brought into block. That's a gain of about 8 yards out to the 39-yard line, and it will bring up 3rd down and 6.
That was an interesting call there. You know, they're not afraid to throw to their running backs, which is, you know, they're some of their top receivers is their running backs. So, you know, I figure something of that nature, you know, catching us into blitz because we were in a full-out blitz of sneaking the back out and doing things. But running the football, you know, now it's 3rd and 5. That's pretty good.
Lohr in the I formation this time as Kittleman goes under center on 3rd down and 6. They hand it to Lohr right side. He's hitting the backfield, spins off of a tackler, and he's stacked up at the 40-yard line. Now just all 22 guys are within 2 yards of each other, pushing the pile around. It's a gain of 1, maybe 2 yards, but it will bring up 4th down and 4, and here comes the punt team for Jenks.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what was so important is 3rd down conversions because – you know, we're not very good at 3rd down conversions. You know, we're like 44%, but our opponents have been over 60%. And that's
a bad combination.
Yeah, and this is huge 3rd down stop.
Timeout taken by Broken Arrow. It looks like they had 12 guys on the field, did the Tigers.
Yeah, Coach Alexander is a little upset, I think.
He's less than pleased, certainly. But they got the timeout called just in time. Let's go down to the sideline and Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan, you asked, no, we couldn't quite hear him up here, but our window isn't allowed to open. Otherwise, that might have been able to make the difference.
No, he was halfway on the field, and I don't think he needed to go halfway on the field for anyone to hear him. He was obviously, mental error right there. You know, back there on that, Spav, maybe give us some insight. I noticed this is the longest – on the play clock. They run that down to 15, maybe 10 seconds on that first play. It was down to like 2 seconds before they snapped. What's the theory there?
Well, that's just the way they are. You know, they're going to huddle. They're going to do things. You know, they're in and out of different formations. I mean, this is just Jenks football. What they do is they're going to control the ball. They're going to control the clock. They're going to control win the battle of first downs. That's their thinking. It always has been. I've been in a lot of those situations, trust me.
So that makes it very difficult because 3rd down, gets emphasized so much. But if you aren't doing your job on 1st and 2nd down, you've got to keep them behind the chains. And that's what we just saw make the difference. They lost 4 yards on 1st down, and it allowed the Tigers to get a stop.
See, I always thought it was 1st down efficiency I always talk about. And that is so much of a crucial down is 1st down. You cannot have negative plays, and having that 4-yard loss was a killer.
Joey Haver is on to punt for the Trojans. He stands at his own 27-yard line. And And I believe that is
We're being
Marion
very
Horn. Yes, it
aggressive.
is. The punt is away. It's a wobbly kick into the Tiger territory at the 40-yard line. It takes a Tiger bounce and rolls dead just inside the 20-yard line where it's downed. And that was not a great punt from the Trojans, so the Tigers start with very good field position here. 1st and 10 from just inside their own 40, and this is a big chance, Spav, to get the offense started on the right foot with good field position.
No doubt. You know, number one is we were going after that punt. I mean, we're playing very aggressive right now. And let's see how aggressive we play offensively. That's important. Here's trips to the field, tied in the boundary. This is one of our top formations. We're going to run it to the boundary.
The offense is mostly intact from contact tracing and things of that nature. Handoff to Horn, right side on 1st down. He was spun sideways at the line of scrimmage, but ended up keeping his feet going in the opposite direction, and he backpedals about 6 yards out to the 46-yard line. 2nd down and 4 coming up for the Tigers. A very solid run on 1st down, and we may have an injured Trojan coming over towards the sideline here.
Well, what was interesting around that play is we had trips to the field and the tight end. We normally run to the boundary, but then he shuffled over and had an unbalanced situation and ran to the unbalance.
2 receivers left, 1 right now, motion into the backfield, handoff to Horn, big hole on the right side. He cuts it back up over the middle into Jenks territory and brought down around the 45-yard line. Another solid gain, that time about 9 yards, and the Tigers moved the chains on their first attempt of the game. 1st and 10 now from the Jenks 45-yard line.
What's really interesting is the our offensive coordinator, Coach Wilkinson, he knows the defense coordinator there very well. He was my defense coordinator. So they know each other very well. And he's attacking every weakness right now.
Rains in the shotgun, motions the tight end right to left, 2 receivers left as well. Handoff to Horn going right across the 45-yard line and dump truck down around the 40-yard line near the out-of-bounds mark. And that's another solid gain, about 5 yards on 1st down. And this is something that we did not see, frankly, in the last game against Owasso, was that 1st down efficiency you were talking about.
Absolutely.
Offensively for Broken Arrow. If the Tigers can run the ball consistently like this on 1st down, that is going to go a long way in this game.
But it's like we have a new offense out there right now. We're in and out of different formations and attacking very well right now.
Sanchez Banks into the game. Spears Jennings split left. Here's the snap, handoff to Banks up the middle, cuts it right, and he's ankle tackled after a gain of about 4.5. It'll bring up 3rd and short, but Spav, if that arm doesn't reach out and grab him, that might have been a big play.
No, that would have been touchdown for sure. I tell you, we're unbalancing the line. The formation is unbalanced, and we haven't shown that all year, and they're not ready for it. So it's really interesting what we're doing. And he cut that thing back now from the unbalance. If you overshift it, really nice.
3rd down and less than a yard from just outside the 35-yard line. Handoff to Banks up the middle, and he just scampers straight up the center of the formation for about 10 yards and a Tiger 1st down. I don't think he ever left the hash mark there, but he runs it for 11.
Well, they're just running that inside power. You know, they're pulling the backside guard, wrapping him up in there. And I tell you what, our line is just really attacking, and he's just running downhill untouched. We're creating another man at the point of attack, another gap, and they're not meeting that.
1st and 10 from the Jenks 24-yard line for Broken Arrow. 2 running backs on the field now as Horn and Banks are in there together. Here's the snap. Flip pass to Horn near side, but it went through his hands, incomplete. That being said, it'll bring up 2nd down and 10, but Spav, we heard Coach Alexander talk about this on Inside Tiger Football in the middle of the week, is getting those 2 players on the field at the same time, which is not something we've seen yet so far this year.
That's a threat. I mean, that's a threat having 2 running backs like that in there, because you can do anything. You can throw to them, you can run to them, either side. I mean, it's so balanced, and it's such a threat, putting the ball in the hands of speed, people with a lot of speed.
Keon Barnett in the slot left side. Spears Jennings to the left as well. Tally split right here on 2nd down and 10 from the Jenks 24. Wants to throw. Rain steps up. He's flushed immediately. He's able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more over the right side. That'll bring up 3rd down and long. They'll actually move the yardage marker back. So it's 3rd down and 11 here from Broken Arrow from the Jenks 25.
And I'm not sure if this is 4-down territory for us or not. I'm not sure where we need to be field goal wise, but Coach Gaylor, the defense coordinator for Jenks, is going to put a lot of pressure on us right now. And I guarantee you, we can just, if we find the perfect pass, it's going to be a good yardage.
Tally split left. Barnett in the slot, screen over the middle. It's caught by Spears-Jennings, but he's hit immediately and brought down by a host of Trojan defenders. A gain of 2, maybe 3, down inside the 24-yard line. That'll still bring up 4th down and long, and it looks like the field goal team is coming out here.
Well, that was one of those plays that we've seen a lot of success with this year, trying to run that drag across the middle, but they picked it up very well. They were looking for it.
This will be about a 40-yarder for Mason Garrett, a senior kicker in his first year, starting in the kicking spot. Dodd is the holder, and again, this is a 40-yard kick. He's got the wind at his back. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. It looks like it's long enough, and it is good. A 40-yarder for Garrett puts the Tigers on the board, 3-0. Broken Arrow leads Jenks with just over 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And Spav, that was good from a long way. There's a set of windows that's on the second story of that building, and he hit one of those windows. That was a great kick.
Great kick. I tell you, that was huge right there. It was a great drive, very methodical thinking, different formations. We get into the red zone, you have to come out with some points. And we haven't had that much success lately. You know, we were about 50% of the time we're getting points in the red zone. Our opponents have always been like 90%. So that was huge right there. Great drive.
And I think even though, obviously you'd prefer 7 over 3, but after getting the good field position, you've already got to stop. That just keeps the momentum in your favor because you go down and you put points on the board. It wasn't a perfect drive, but it keeps you that mojo going as opposed to kind of having a letdown that you didn't score at all.
Right. I mean, field goals are great. I mean, they're great, but you can't make a living on it.
Garrett has the ball teed up at the 40. His first kickoff of the night went about 8 yards deep in the end zone. And again, he's got the wind in his back, kicking right to left. Garrett's kick is away. High end-over-end kick. That one's not carrying quite as far, and it's caught at the 1-yard line. Jenks is going to bring it out over the near side to the 15, 20, outside to the 25, and a great tackle at the 25-yard line. That was Jaden Patrick on the return. And I think it was Jalen Johnson that ran him down and got the stop in space. That was a very strong tackle there in a precarious spot.
That's right. I mean, open field tackle is the most difficult tackle to make to begin with. And just one little shake and he's gone. So that was a great tackle.
Johnson will now be the corner to the field side as Jenks starts 1st and 10 from its own 26-yard line. Ball on the near hash. That's the right hash for Jenks, moving left to right. The Trojans, we saw pretty much everything from formation-wise. They went under center, shotgun, pistol, all in that first drive, even though they were unable to score. The tight end, Waylon Adams, moves right to left. They hand it off to Lohr over the right side. He's bottled up immediately and brought down for next to no gain. In on the tackle there was Julius McVeigh, the junior defensive lineman, listed at 6'2", 236. Just kind of shoved everybody out of the way and got to the running back.
We did a great job there. It's just, holding up the offensive lineman with your hands and then coming off of it and making the play. Very nice, very nice.
That's one thing that I think the casual football observer doesn't realize is so important playing up front is the hands. There's a bunch of size and you get in guys' way and stuff, but that hand technique is vitally important. Under center is Kilman, sings it to the far side, and it's through the hands of his intended target, Montre Samuels Parker. The fullback had come out of the backfield on the play-action pass there, and he was somewhat open, though I don't think he was going very far once he caught it. There were defenders on the way, but it went through his hands incomplete. Third down and 10 now for Jenks.
Yeah, this could be a 3-and-out. That's awesome.
3:13 to go in the first quarter. Broken Arrow leads Jenks 3-0. A later start tonight than usual, 7:35 kickoff for this one. The Tigers did not have any down linemen on the last play. 2 receivers split left, 1 right for Stephen Kittleman in the shotgun with a running back to his left. That's Lohr. And a whistle, a flag, a false start called against the Trojans.
Good.
Let's go down to the sidelines and Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan, what do you have for us?
You know, something I'm noticing down here, man, there's just a lot more energy on the sideline. Whenever, there's a stop on a play, I mean, players, coaches, everybody comes out and has something to say. You know, they're positive about it. So a lot more chatter, a lot more energy from the BA sideline.
It's almost like they're excited to play football after a 3-week hiatus. We've got Wall split out to the near side, Patrick far side on 3rd down and 15, and the pocket collapses immediately after the snap on Kittleman, and he's sacked. Another loss of about 7 yards, and the Tigers come up with a 3-and-out to force Jenks to punt the football back, and Jenks has gone backwards all the way to its own 18-yard line, Spav.
That's awesome. I tell you the biggest thing now, not only field position, but this punter is not a very good punter, and we're going to put pressure on him again here. You can see we're lined up ready to block it.
That was Jadanian Floyd Wright, who's actually listed as a linebacker instead of a safety today, that came through for that sack. The snap is high, and the punt is shanked over the near side. It's out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
See, we went after it again, and I tell you what, he had to punt that thing so fast.
He didn't even step. He basically caught it and just swung his left leg at it.
Yeah, it was like a bad snap real high, and then he just took a one step and hit it. And boy, I tell you what, you can't ask for better than this. Now we're automatically in the red zone. Now we have to come out with points.
Yeah, the closest the Tigers got on the last possession was the 23, which is where they kicked the field goal from. They start with it on the Jenks 18 here.
But we're bunching it again here. We got that little nasty type slot with
Sanchez Banks takes the handoff out of the shotgun, and the offensive line did a nice job moving the line of scrimmage there because Banks never got past his lineman, but he still gained about 3 yards on the play down to the 15-yard line. 2nd down and 7 coming up. Broken Arrow leading 3-0 over Jenks with 2:15 to play here in the first quarter.
But by us flexing that tight end and putting a fullback in the middle there, it creates a cutback. It creates the cutback lane, and he almost took it.
Spears Jennings split left, Talley bunched right along with 2 tight ends. Here's the snap in the pistol, handoff to Banks right side, looking for the cutback. Rams his left shoulder into a defender and gains about 3 more yards down to the 13-yard line or so. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5 for Broken Arrow.
That's good. We're getting positive yardage each time, and that's what's important. Because the only problem down in the red zone now is when you're on the 13, 14-yard line where they're at, what makes it difficult is you can't throw vertical. So everything's reduced.
We'll see if Steiber, the tight end, comes into play here. He is bunched with Talley on the right side. Spears Jennings split left. They hand it off to Sanchez straight at the middle. Got a hole inside the 5. Sprinting towards the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers!
Boy, he hit that thing hard. I'm telling you what, that inside power, he hit it hard. And we had an opening there. What a great play.
Sanchez Banks is listed at 5'10", 205, and he was a battering ram, every bit of it. Now, he had a nice hole up the middle, don't get me wrong. By the time he got to the safety, who was the last line of defense, he didn't really have much of a chance of slowing him down. It's 9-0 Broken Arrow with a chance to put an extra point on the board here. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. It is good. 10-0 Tigers with 1:15 to go here in the first. And Spav, Broken Arrow started without the football.
Oh, gosh,
so
they're playing good. But we said the defense has played well. They're playing great. And that's the whole point is we got to have the defense. See, the problem is their defense is really tired right now. Our offense is clicking because we're on the field a lot longer, and we're just hammering at them. They have no answers to all of our formations. It was neat the way we have that nasty slot, we call it, where they flex the tight end, the fullback tight end. It kind of is off the line of scrimmage. But he was the guy that they pulled to go up into the hole to lead for the touchdown.
And what's nice right now for Broken Arrow is, and Spav, you can talk more about this than I can, but when you get into a formation, there's obviously more than one action, more than one play you can run out of that. Right now, the first option is working for everything. So you've got options B and C and D out of that formation that can work off of the current plays you're running. It's going to be tough for Jenks to try to figure some things out moving forward here defensively, the way Broken Arrow in particular is running the football.
And the multiple formations we haven't shown all year.
1:15 to play in the first quarter, and Broken Arrow leads 10-0. Garrett with 4 points to his name personally, about to kick off. The kick is away. It is high, end over end, and caught about a yard deep in the end zone. That's a touchback. No opportunity for a return for Glenver Jones, a junior who is back to return there for Jenks.
Now, the whole thing here is what Jenks has, they may get to a point where they're going to panic a little bit and kind of be a little cute. If they get to be a little cute there, then what happens? Basically, it's going to create a turnover and or put themselves in a bad situation.
Jenks so far has run the ball 7 times for a net gain of 13 yards. That's less than 2 yards a carry. And that is a number that's going to have to be better for the Trojans. Kittleman's only 0 for 1 throwing the ball. It was well delivered, but it went through the hands of his intended target. Kittleman in the pistol here. He's got Lohr behind him. One receiver split right, one left. Now the receiver that was right, Walls, goes in motion to the left side. Here's the snap, handoff to Lohr, left side, looking for a hole across the 20, which was the line of scrimmage, and he is hit sideways and knocked down after a gain of 5 out to the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 5. That's as good as Jenks has been on 1st down in several attempts.
Yeah, that was the same first down play they ran at the beginning of the game, trying to run that wing and run outside of it a little bit, and had a lot of success with it. And they had 5 yards in, 5 yards now. So this is a crucial down for them, 2nd and 5, because it makes it real difficult in defense. We've got to be careful now.
We talked to Garrett Hinesley in the middle of the week about this defense's maturity and how they've come together not only this year but over the break, and he spoke very highly of it. We're seeing that so far today. Pass to the near side. It's caught in the flat at the 35-yard line out to the 40 and knocked out of bounds around the 41. On the reception that time was Jaden Patrick for the Trojans. It'll be a 1st down, and just the 2nd 1st down of the game for Jenks as we are approaching the end of the quarter. 24 seconds remaining in the quarter. And the ball now on the Jenks 40-yard line.
Yeah, I tell you, we're running with 4 down linemen, which is kind of important. And 1 spied that time, which meant he dropped off the line of scrimmage. So he's mixing a lot of our coverages and doing some really neat things defensively right now.
Wall split left, Patrick right for the Trojans. Now the 2 tight ends who are bunched right move over to the left side of the formation. Lohr to the right of Kittleman in the shotgun, and flags fly just before the play starts.
That's awesome.
The clock was about to hit 0. The question is, did the flag come in before the quarter ran out? Indeed, that is the case. So that'll be a 5-yard penalty against Jenks. And in theory, that should put a second or 2 back on the clock if the penalty happened before the end of the quarter. The officials are sorting that out now.
Okay, guess not.
They're
going to go to the second quarter.
All right, well,
yeah.
Anyway, when we start
they want to go home.
It'll be 1st and 15 for Jenks from their own 35-yard line. 10-0 Tigers after a quarter. We'll take a break, flip the field around, and be back with more. This is Broken Arrow Tiger football here on ArrowVision.
For families who like to build their wealth while staying liquid, we have flexible rate CDs to keep your funds working hard, even when you're not. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Orange moon beginning to rise over Broken Arrow from our perspective here in Jenks, and that will wake up to see a Tiger 10-0 lead as we start the second quarter here at the home of the Trojans. Jenks has the football, now moving right to left. That's south to north, and the ball will be on the right hash on 1st and 15 for Jenks when we return to action. But Spav, that's a pretty ideal start to this game for Broken Arrow.
I tell you what, it's just everything that you dream for me. Just playing good defense. Your offense is controlling the line of scrimmage. It's just wonderful. And that's the advantage of having 2 weeks off. your mind can go and you can really create some mismatches that you're not ready and prepared for.
This will be Jenks' 11th offensive play, which will match Broken Arrow's, but the Tigers have put up 10 points, and Jenks is yet to score. 1st and 15. Here's a shotgun snap. Pass to the flat left side. It's incomplete. The receiver cut down before he could haul the ball in, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 15. We're seeing Jenks start to attack the flats quite a bit in the passing game.
Yeah, they're going to have to because they're very aggressive. We're very aggressive right now. We are flying around, and what that means is they got to get rid of the ball fast.
That is Jalen Johnson, who's down, who I think was the player that made that tackle a moment ago, or the would-be tackle on the incomplete pass. He is moving around quite a bit. Let's go down to the sidelines and Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan.
Yeah, so on that play, just looking at it from across the field, he was in mid-motion of tackling and kind of led up. And so I think he kind of got caught kind of in one of those places when you're not going 100% and you're going 50. I think he may have got a knee to the head or neck or something like that. But I think he was kind of unsure whether he was injured or not. And I think at some point just had to go down to make sure the play was stopped and he could get off the field.
He did jump up and walk off over his own power, fortunately. Ryan, thanks for the perspective there. And certainly looks like he is back up and moving around, which is good. And hopefully he'll be able to return here before too long. In his stead comes Zach McGowan, 5'7" senior. He'll be covering the field from the cornerback spot here.
See, we're just playing with 2 levels on defense. You know, you have everybody on the line, and then you have a level on the back end. So you don't know who's dropping to the flat, who's the deeper player, and who's rushing. Or they could drop down and play man-to-man, you know, and just lock up real quick and blitz everybody. This is kind of an interesting defensive formation, and obviously it's very successful, and everybody's standing up.
Jones and Patrick split left for Jenks. Wall split right. Kittleman in the shotgun with Lord to his left. Ball on the right hash on 2nd and 15. Here's the snap. Broken Arrow brings a bunch of guys. Kittleman nearly stepped through the sack, but somebody else came back to get him. That was Hinesley. Check that. That was Dakota Tomlinson who was able to chase him down for the sack. And again, the Tiger defense forces a negative play.
They have no answer. They have no answer. It's really good the way we're pinning people. Like they have 2 up linebackers that are mugged up, and one's pinning the center and the other one's crossing back over. Very good. Not giving them any time.
The Tigers brought 6 on that play, and you got to credit the defensive play calling so far in this game as well. It's been very well mixed up. 3 receivers split left on 3rd down and 20 for Jenks.
So you still got the 2 levels of defense here.
1 receiver split right. Here's the snap. 4 rushers. They've got a screen set up for Lohr, but he dropped the football. Hit him in the hands, and it was set up well for the Trojans, but he just didn't reel it in, and that will bring up 4th down and 20. Jenks will have to punt again.
Well, we dropped back and played coverage that time. You know, we're running just the 2 levels. You don't know who's rushing and who's what, or who's defending who, you know, or who's covering who. But we chose to run coverage on that last one.
Marion Horn is back to receive. Haver, the punter, stands on his own 17-yard line, and Horn is not particularly deep. This snap is better. Haver's punt is blocked, and it's rolling towards the end zone. The Tigers dive on it. Touchdown, Broken Arrow. A blocked punt ricochets all the way to the 1, bounces into the end zone, and the Tigers jump on it for a score. 16-0 Broken Arrow with 10:43 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Wow, this is just amazing right now. We've tried 3 times to block that thing, and we barely missed it the first time. We almost got it the 2nd time because we forced him to have the shank, and then this one we got it. I tell you, Tim Holt, Coach Holt does a fabulous job with special teams, and you can see that right now, utilizing a lot of speed.
I believe it was Mason Elmore that dove on the football in the end zone for the score. I'm not quite sure who had the block, but I think Haver just thought he had more time than he did. The snap is back. Ball down, kick on the way, and it is good. 17-0 Broken Arrow with 10:43 to go in the 2nd quarter. And so far, Spav, we've seen Broken Arrow dominate all 3 phases of this game.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I tell you what's really interesting is just the fact of how our defense is completely shutting down Jenks' offense. And Jenks' offense, statistically, going into this game, has statistic everybody in every statistic imaginable.
And keep in mind, Jenks's only loss this year was to a very good Bixby team, but the offense put up 35 points in that game. It's not like they didn't score.
Exactly.
This has been a very good Jenks offense so far, but Broken Arrow has been good on first downs defensively. They've been excellent on special teams so far. We've seen the Tigers' special teams has outscored the offense. They got a 40-yard field goal and a punt block for a score.
Yeah.
And not to mention, they handed
2
the
extra
offense an
points.
18-yard field to work with for the touchdown. So
Exactly.
It's been an excellent special teams day, and the offense.
But what's important, too, is we're scoring in the red zone. You have to score in the red zone. We were just 50% in the red zone, and now we have a field goal in it. We have a touchdown in it. A block punt in it. I mean, we're just really doing a good job.
Jenks has run 13 plays for only 28 yards in the game. That's 2.2 yards per play. Broken Arrow is averaging just shy of 5, but the Tigers really haven't had the ball that much. They've only run 11 plays, and they're winning by 17 points.
Well, and plus, the field position's been crucial. The first drive, we had it on the 40. Second one, we had it inside the 20. I mean, the field position's perfect for us. And we would have, if we didn't block that, we would have had good field position again. Jenks has no answer to anything that we're doing.
Looks like Garrett's lining up for a short kick here into the wind, and he kicks it high in the air up the far side. It's fair caught at the 32-yard line. And Jenks will have its best field position of the day, starting at its own 32. We'll see if the Tiger defense can stay in their heads.
Well, like you said, they've only had 2 first downs, and then once they get the first down, then all of a sudden they go backwards. But I'll tell you what, our defense is – I like the way we're playing at the 2 levels of defense. There's so much confusion in their offense. They don't know who's dropping and who's covering who, and then who's rushing, who's blitz. I mean, they don't have an idea. Neither do we.
One other difference in the game right now, Jenks 2 penalties for 10 yards. Broken Arrow does not have a penalty yet. And those 2 yards both put 2 penalties both put Jenks behind the chains. Pistol set here. Here's the snap. Handoff right side to Lohr. Standing up as he hits the line of scrimmage, and he's stymied there. Maybe a gain of a half yard is all. It'll be second down and long for the Trojans. And Lohr looked a little bit timid getting to the line of scrimmage there. On the tackle that time was Corey Williams.
No doubt. He's frustrated. He's the one who dropped the screen. You could see in his demeanor how frustrated he is, and that's a good sign for us.
He's coming to the sideline here. It is Forbes checking in at running back. The receiver split out to the right side is Patrick. 2 receivers left as well on 2nd and 9. Ball on the right hash from the Jenks 33. Shotgun set for Kittleman.
We're locked down, man.
Looking left, wants to throw, zings it to the near side. It's caught near midfield, hit from behind and brought down right at the 50-yard line was Ty Walls. That's his first reception of the game. In fact, that's only the 2nd completed pass of the game for Jenks, and it gets the Trojans actually into Tiger territory at the 49-yard line. That's the best play we've seen from Jenks' offense today.
Yeah, I thought they were going to run man. They lined up in it, but boy, they rotated the coverage really quickly to a zone, and they hit that little flag route out of the smash combination to the field.
Let's see how the Tiger defense reacts to the biggest play that it's allowed so far today. Walls splits out. Well, he started to run right. Now he comes to the near side. The tight end in the slot near side is Adams. He's been their leading receiver so far this year, but we haven't seen him catch a ball yet or I think even be targeted. Here's the snap. Dump pass to the near side and a screen set up. Room for Forbes out across the 40-yard line and inside the 35, cut down around the 32-yard line. There was a lot going on there, Coach. There is a flag at the line of scrimmage, but Spav, that was a brilliantly drawn-up play right there.
Yeah, what it is they caught us in a corner blitz. So we're coming from the boundary with the corner, and by bringing that receiver back in and then back out to catch the ball, that corner could not change direction. But we got a holding call and brought it back.
So that is a huge penalty against Jenks, because instead of a 16, 17-yard gain, it's effectively a 10-yard
loss.
Well, it's about a 9-yard penalty because the hold came in front of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So it's first down and 19 back at the Jenks 42-yard line now, back into Trojan territory. 2 receivers split right, including Glenver Jones. Now motion out to the right side. Here's the snap. Kittleman wants to throw, now tucks it and scrambles up the middle, back out to midfield where he's wrapped up there.
And that's what that quarterback can do. You know, like I said, they don't have designed quarterback run plays, Jenks' offense. But if he steps up in the pocket and he sees a seam, he has the feet to be able to make a lot of yardage.
Call it a gain of 8. It'll bring up 2nd down and 11. And Kittleman made a pretty quick decision there, too. He didn't wait a whole long
Well, we're putting
time.
so much pressure on them, they can't block it. You know, so we're 4 down linemen now.
Jones motions from left to right across the formation. 2 receivers split right now. Here's the snap. Kittleman wants to throw, zings it up the left side. It's caught at the 35-yard line, makes a man miss inside the 20. It's a foot race to the left side, inside the 10. 5, touchdown Trojans.
Ooh, that was sweet. That was really a pretty pass and catch right there, and run.
Jaden Patrick put the little sluggo route on there, cut inside, then went up the hash
Double
left
move.
side.
Yeah.
And then he made one man miss. It was a foot race at that point. He's got plenty of speed. And Jenks is on the board for the first time today, 17-6, 8:24 to go in this first quarter, and the field goal unit is on for the PAT. Max Paskvin on for the kick, the junior. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way, and it is good. 17-10, Jenks on the board, and now Spav will have the first opportunity for the offense to truly respond. It's kind of gone all Broken Arrow's way so far, and now you have a chance for the offense to come out, put a methodical drive together, and try to bring back some of that momentum.
Right, and they're kicking with the wind now on the kickoff. So, the last one went out of bounds. I think it went in the end zone. So therefore they. We'll get the ball in the 20s, so we'll see. That'd be the worst field position.
Far and away the worst field position.
Yeah. So, and we've been winning that battle.
And Jenks able to finally put some points on the board here after a very rough first quarter. That was a 51-yard throw and catch, 50 exactly officially, from Stephen Kittleman to Jaden Patrick, to put Jenks on the board.
We got to see. Our offense needs to respond here because their defense is confused. They're frustrated. Jenks' defense. So because we've been having a lot of success with them.
You mentioned the punt block team specifically and how they've come close on all 3 punts. Is that a situation where in the film room, as the special teams coach this week, you're basically saying, guys, we're going to get one this week. Here's how we're going to do it.
Absolutely. You study their protections, you do things and keep studying, and then you get your matchups. You move your personnel in there. But what Coach Holt has done, he's put a lot of speed on his punt block team. There's so much speed there, it's extremely difficult to protect.
Kicking off for the Trojans, 39,
Horn,
Max Paskvin.
Barnett and Williams back to receive for Broken Arrow. Paskvin kicks it high in the air, far side. It is caught at the 32-yard line. Tigers trying to return it across the 40-yard line and out of bounds. That was Dietrich Moore on the catch and the short return.
He was kicking with the wind. I couldn't figure that one out. I guess they don't have a kickoff guy. I didn't know that.
Well, as it turns out, the Tigers will
they have good field position.
Yeah, equal their worst field position at their own 40-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline and Ryan Wyckoff.
Well, I thought it was interesting that Dietrich Moore didn't call a fair catch. He was ready to run it back, man. They didn't hesitate here on the sideline either.
It almost worked. Had he broken the initial tackle, I think he would have maybe taken it the distance. Here's the snap, handoff to Horn over the left side. He's got space across the 45-yard line and shoved out of bounds, I think just into Jenks territory. We'll see exactly where they mark it across from us, but a very solid run on first down. Oh, they only gave him 6 yards all the way back at the 46-yard line.
Well, still, that's a great play. I tell you what we're doing.
Oh, that's a
that's
bad spot.
Bad spot.
Goodness gracious.
I didn't say that, but
me neither. 17-7, Broken Arrow leading with 8:13 to go. 2nd down and 4. coming up. Here's the snap, looking to throw. Raines launches it
Oh,
up the
good
left
one.
side. He's got a man, but it's incomplete. It looked like the receiver got jostled just enough to prevent him from breaking free down the field. That was Spears Jennings that
He was
couldn't
just
quite shake the defender.
getting to get open there, but he didn't have enough time to throw the football. It was the biggest problem. He couldn't set his feet well.
If you give Raines an extra second and a half there where he
Yes.
can set and wait for the receiver to
He
break.
throws a good long ball.
3rd down and 4 coming up here for the Tigers from their own 46-yard line.
Yeah, let's see what we do here.
Spears Jennings split right, 1 receiver left, 2 tight ends in the game on the right side. Tigers nearly moved. Here's a snap, handoff right side. Banks with room across the 50, now to the 40, inside the 35, and drug down from behind it around the 31-yard line. A huge run on 3rd down. Gets the Tigers well into Jenks territory. They mark the ball right at the 30, and again, the running game comes through for Broken Arrow.
It's great. I mean, they're just the way they're changing the strength of the formation by having the fullback on one side, then he comes up to the other side, and they're creating a big edge, and they're just coming downhill hard. And they're not lining up right.
Sanchez Banks averaging nearly 10 yards a carry. They hand it to him again on 1st down. Not as much room this time, but he still gains 3.5 yards or so inside the 27-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd down and about 6.
Well, that's the play we scored on. Was one of our touchdowns, the way that fullback went up and led in the hole.
7:20 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Broken Arrow leading by 10 and starting to threaten again. Just outside the Jenks 26-yard line, trips left. Horn and Barnett in the slot. Talley split out to the side. Now Sanchez Banks goes in motion to that side as well. They're going to throw it. Raines up the left side. It is caught by Horn. Spins away from a defender. Inside the 5. Touchdown, Tigers.
That's so awesome.
I thought Horn was going to get lit up. Instead, he bounced off the defender after making the catch, and that's a big-time contested catch for a running back there, lined up in the slot. They sent Banks in motion to make it look like it was going to be a screen. They hit Horn up the seam. The defender played the ball instead of the man, and Horn just spun right off of him and scampered into the end zone. 23-7 Broken Arrow, and Garrett is on for the point-after attempt. Snap back, ball down. There was pressure, but he got the kick away, and it's good. 24-7 Broken Arrow, just shy of 7 minutes remaining in the 2nd.
Well, the biggest thing is they're running, they were running a trips formation to the field. What we did is then we motioned the back out there. So we're in empty now. We have nobody in the backfield. And what we've done in the past is we've thrown the flare out there, to our running back. But in this case, what happened is, and they thought the same thing. So you could see their defense rotate with that. But then when they went vertical, we had 2 vertical on 1 guy.
That's anytime you can have them outnumbered, that's good on the football field. And Coach Alexander said in the middle of the week this week that they went back, they reevaluated the offense, and they got rid of some things that they weren't doing very well.
Yes.
Whatever they got rid of and implemented that was new or just focused on, they seem to have hit the right buttons, because this looks like a different offense than 3 weeks ago.
It is so exciting to watch. We got so many weapons. You can see what we're doing. And if you take this away, we're going to go here. When you have those answers, you're going to be really successful. The biggest thing, we throw vertical. By throwing vertical, it opens up your screen game as well.
Garrett lining up for the short kick again. And he kicks this one deep. That looks like it might sail out of bounds, but instead it's caught at the 10-yard line. Trying to return it up the near side are the Trojans. He's hit at the 18-yard line and brought down. A flag comes in as well. That was Patrick on the return. And Spav, that was an interesting decision to catch that ball near the sideline at the 10-yard line. There's a very good chance that ball would have rolled out of bounds.
I know, it would have went out of bounds. Get the ball in the 35.
Instead, he only got it out to about the 20, and this flag, generally speaking, is going to be on the return team unless something goofy happened as the Tigers were trying to get to the football.
Yeah, I got a holding. Ooh.
Holding is the call against the Trojans.
Great.
Half the distance to
So
the goal.
holding will send the ball all the way back to the 10-yard line. And, again, the field position battle going the way of the Tigers.
It's huge. It's huge. You win the field position battle, basically what happens is you're going to win 72% of your games.
And this hasn't been a slight advantage. This is like a 45-degree tilt in the direction of the Tigers, to the advantage of the Tigers, that is. I formation with a tight end right. Here's the snap. Kittleman hands it off left side to Lohr, trying to bounce it outside. Looking to stiff arm a man, but he's drugged down anyway. That was a strong upper body tackle from Johnson there. Jalen Johnson, he got stiff armed, but he still was able to get in there and get his hands on it.
He's a good tackler. I like that young man. He does a good job. I tell you, Lohr's a tough runner. He's a tough runner, but he doesn't look tough right now.
There's a gain of just shy of 2. It brings up 2nd down and 8, and we'll see if Jenks switches it up again. That's the first time we've seen him in
they have to get yardage on this play.
Like that. Bunch left, receiver left as well, and the receiver split right is Jaden Patrick in the shotgun. Here's the snap, hand off to Lohr, big hole over the left side, first down across the 20. He slipped and fell down, tried to make a cut, and we were talking with Ryan Wyckoff about this before the game, how he said at some point you're probably going to see some guys try to cut and just slip and fall, and in that case it happened to be the running back as Lohr goes down after a gain of about 10 or 11. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Jenks from its own 23.
It's just an old field. The turf's real old. It's flat. It's hard. It's a little harder surface.
Well, and you get to moments like this when it gets to this time of the year, and as it cools down, the air just condenses on that turf and makes it slick. Trips right to the wide side of the field, empty set as they motion Forbes from left to right across the formation. They throw it to Forbes in the flat. Here comes the defense. He's stuck at the 18-yard line and dropped. Jalen Johnson, check that. That was Corey Williams who came flying up to make the tackle. Great defensive play.
You know, that was his second look, too. The quarterback was looking downfield for another option. It wasn't there, so he went out to and boy, did he make a good tackle.
That was a great job, both by Williams and also the linebacker Moore, who came flying over. Those guys both read that play very, very well, reacted well, flew to the football. 2nd down and 14 coming up now for Jenks from its own 19-yard line. Ball on the far hash. That's the right hash with the Trojans moving right to left. 2 receivers split left to the wide side of the field. Tight end left as well. Here's the snap to Kittleman. He's got pressure in his face, throws it over the near side. It is caught at the 40-yard line. A beautiful play by Ty Walls, who went up and frankly took an interception away. Juggled it as he went to the ground and was able to secure it. A big gain for the Trojans. 1st and 10 from their own 41 on the flag route there.
Well, that was a heck of a throw, though, and catch. But we put so much pressure on them. I mean, their linemen are limping around. That's going to hinder them running the football as well.
As much pressure was on him, that's about as much time as Kittleman has had to throw. Those plays haven't really been able to develop for the Trojans today. Lohr is back in the ball game to the right of Kittleman, motioning to the backfield. Here's the snap, handoff to Lohr, right side, busts through the hole at the 45, and now carrying a defender forward to about the 49-yard line. It'll be a gain of 9, bringing up 2nd down and 1 from midfield. As we approach the 4-minute mark of the second quarter, Broken Arrow leading 24-7, but the Jenks offense starting to figure some things out here.
2nd down.
4 penalties for 30 yards have been one of the Trojans' biggest hindrances this evening.
Killer, isn't it?
The Tigers have played a clean ball game so far. No penalties.
This is kind of a wasted down now. You know, 2nd and 1, they can do whatever they want. Their whole playbook is wide open.
2 receivers right, tight end right as well. That's all to the field side. Here's the snap. Kittleman wants to throw, zips it near side, caught, and spinning away from the defender was Patrick, but then brought down by a host of other Tiger defenders at around the 35-yard line of Broken Arrow. We got a little bit of jawing after the play here.
Well, it was a little chippy before. Lohr had to be restrained, and now we're at
there were several players getting mouthy from both sides.
Yeah. They're just playing good. It's good, clean football out there. They're just getting their competitors.
We got a fullback in the game now. That's Montre Samuels Parker.
Changed the whole formation, the strength.
Yep, 2 tight ends in the game. Bunch left. Now motion to the right side. They snap it directly to Lohr, who's eyeing the left side of the formation. Not a ton of room, but the line of scrimmage moved quite a bit. He actually gained about 5 yards inside the 30-yard line. 2nd down and 5 coming up. And there was a lot of motion trickery going on there.
Yeah.
The quarterback, Kittleman, acted like it went over his head, but it was a direct snap.
Yeah, and then what they're looking at is, are we covering that motion guy that went out, flared out the opposite direction? Are we covering him? You know, these are things that offense, they have these smoke and mirrors, and they're looking at how we handle the smokes and mirrors.
Bunch right this time. Wide receivers to either side, one on each side. Kittleman with Lohr to his left, takes the snap, pulls the handoff, throws it up the left side. It's juggled and caught up the left side. Touchdown by Ty Walls. A one-handed catch. He spun around the defender and avoided one more on his way to the end zone. Two phenomenal catches on this drive by Walls, and Jenks is back in the end zone.
Oh my God, that was one heck of a catch.
He stopped it with his left hand, juggled it to himself twice. A defender spun him around on his way to the end zone, but he kept his balance and eventually fell in. 24-13, Broken Arrow still leads, but Jenks with the PAT coming. 2:21 to go before halftime. So there's still time for the Tiger offense. Snap back, ball down, a line drive kick on the way, and it is good. 24-14, Broken Arrow still leads. But Jenks again waking up a little bit offensively here in the second quarter after a very rough first. They've scored twice here in the second, largely courtesy to some big plays from the wide receiver core.
But, you know, we can't that's exactly right, but the whole thing is they can't stop us. I mean, we may have our little moments here defensively, but they can't stop us at all. We're controlling that.
The one main downside that I've seen in the second quarter that has taken an advantage away from Broken Arrow is the special teams have kind of evened out, largely due to the wind. Broken Arrow can't kick it as deep into the wind, and Jenks has a chance to use the wind to its advantage. Now that block punt still came early in the second quarter, but that has negated some of the things that Broken Arrow was doing special teams wise. That being said, Broken Arrow still has very much won the field position battle.
Oh
so
yeah,
far
even when they're kicking off with the wind, we're winning it.
Broken Arrow currently is being the offense is being outgained 196 to 114, but of course the Tigers with a field goal and a great field position and a block punt are still leading by 10 points. It's one of the ways that you kind of have to interpret stats. They don't necessarily tell the full story 100% of the time. 2:21 to go before halftime, and the Tigers will get one more chance with the football. Jenks kicking off with the wind at its back. The kick is away. It's a high kick, near side. Horn will catch it at the 18-yard line, trying to run it to the left. Scampers around one man. Oh, and he just needed one more block to get around the corner. He's brought down at the 20-yard line. So the Tigers will have to go 80 yards here with 2:17 to go.
See, that's another situation that could have let the ball go out of bounds.
Right? I mean, that was, he actually, when he jumped up to catch it, he had to look down to make sure he landed in bounds. In fact, it would have made some sense to actually try to land out of bounds, because then you'd get the ball at the 35 if you don't establish yourself in bounds.
Now, see, let's see, we got 2 timeouts. I'm sorry. 2 timeouts. We got 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
This is the worst field position Broken Arrow has had. Into the backfield comes Steiber, the tight end. Here's the snap. Handoff to Sanchez, left side. Not a lot of room. He gets about 2 yards after the 22. And it brings up 2nd down and 8.
I mean, that's positive yardage right there. Now, this down, if we get more positive yardage, just makes 3rd down a lot easier to convert.
Gain of 3. 2nd down.
Gave him 3 on the play, so 2nd and 7 coming up. I think Jenks has all 3 of its timeouts left. We have not seen the Trojans take one yet to stop the clock. Steiber moves left to right. Here's the snap. Handoff right side.
Play.
Sanchez, again, not a ton of room, but positive yardage. 2 more out to the 25-yard line. Brings up 3rd down and 5 with 90 seconds left in the quarter.
You know, that formation is great. I love it. You know, you have a tight end over there, you got a wing, and you get a fullback, and what happened is you're trying to widen that edge, and you run right inside of it. It's really interesting.
3rd down and 5 coming up for Broken Arrow. 1:06 to go, and you really like to move the chains just to make sure you don't give the ball back at the very least. Tally split right. Barnett and Spears Jennings split left on 3rd and 5. Here's the snap, wants to throw it. Raines flushed, running right, got a little bit of room, but now he's closed in on and knocked out of bounds around the 26-yard line, so it's a gain of only 1, and it stops the clock with 50 seconds remaining in the half. Raines was looking left and couldn't find anybody, was forced to tuck it and try to maneuver it on the ground.
And he's another guy that can run with his feet. You know, we've seen that. When he steps up in the pocket, sees that lane and runs, he's got the ability to do it.
They gave him 2 yards, so it's 4th down and 3, but the punt formation is out here for Broken Arrow. Patrick is back to return. Here's the snap, it's a good one. Dodd's kick is away, a high wobbly spiral. Patrick calls for a fair catch and makes it at the Jenks 40-yard line.
Just 45 seconds. Yeah.
A solid punt there from Dodd.
Yeah, it's a good punt. Good punt. You know, it's against the wind. Got the ball in the 40, the minus 40.
The defense needs to try to come up with one more stop here. Now the concern is the passing game has come alive for Jenks, 148 yards here in the half. Most of that coming on their last 2 drives.
Yeah, and they're catching us and things, you know, that there may be some confusion or something. I'm not sure on some of it, but they're catching us in some situations, and it's really us doing the problem.
No one within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage here defensively for Broken Arrow. We'll see who they send. Here come 4. Pass to the near side. It's a screen set up, it looks like, for Nobles, and he's knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 3 yards.
41 seconds now. Yeah, they're just running the flare with the back. Nice, safe, sound play, but we did a great job defensively of rallying the troops and just giving them a 3-yard gain.
41 seconds to go in the first half. Broken Arrow leads Jenks 24-14, was up as much as 17 on 2 occasions. Trips right, 2 receivers left, an empty backfield for Kittleman, who takes the snap. Wants to throw right. It's caught at the 50-yard line, and then the receiver bouncing off a couple of would-be tacklers, but Adams is eventually drugged down in Broken Arrow territory around the 48-yard line. 35 seconds remaining in the half.
That's the tight end. That's their leading receiver. You know, they flexed him out, and they had 3 receivers wide in the back when it emptied out over to the boundary, and just threw that number 3, what they call number 3 is number 3 receiver on just a little option route.
And that's part of the reason that he is capable of being their leading receiver, because he doesn't line up with his hand on the ground at the end of the line of scrimmage 100% of the time. He's got the capability to stand
and
up
to flex
as a wide
out.
receiver.
Yeah, if you can flex out like that, it's to your advantage.
He's got great size, too. 6'4", 241. That's a big kid. Timeout on the field taken by Jenks. So each team with 2 timeouts left in the half. 32 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's, you know, they don't have a lot of time, but they have 2 timeouts now.
They split trips to the right again. Adams is not in the game this time. 1 receiver to the near side. The trips are on the short side of the field. Now motion out of the backfield to the left side from Forbes, and it's an empty set. Kittleman wants to throw again, looking left, throws the the corner route to the near side, and it's incomplete. That actually looked like he was in good shape for Patrick to catch. He just couldn't haul it in.
Well,
brings up 2nd down and 10 from the Tiger 48.
Well, you knew something was up when they put the formation in the boundary trips, and they have a short, split of the receiver, and then the back goes outside of him, to empty the formation. So you know that they're doing something to try to get that inside receiver the ball.
Kittleman with 2 receivers left, 2 right. Now a receiver motions from left to right. That's Jones. And he's got Lord to his left. Here's the snap. Wants to throw it. Now scrambling right. Kittleman still looking at the field. Slings it up the far sideline, and I believe it was incomplete.
Yeah.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Let's go down to Ryan Wyckoff, who probably had a better vantage point of that.
Let me tell you something. That was a great effort. He had both feet in to start that catch, but as soon as he caught the ball, I think his feet came up and he was out of bounds. All these Broken Arrow coaches and players were way close, and the referee was right on it. He was definitely out.
I'm surprised he threw the football, actually.
I was surprised the receiver actually caught it. I thought it had bounced off of his hands. That's a very tiny window in terms of the throw that you're trying to get to over there. 3rd down and 10 from the Broken Arrow 48 with 23 seconds remaining before halftime. Trips left to the wide side of the field. Here's a snap. Kittleman immediately under pressure. Dumps off a screen pass up the middle. 1st down yardage across the 38-yard line and brought down around the 36. Was Griffin Forbes. 16 seconds remaining and a timeout from Jenks. That play took a while to develop, which is why I'm a little surprised they ran it, Spav. You don't have a ton of time left, but they were able to move the chains at least and keep the ball in their hands, but only 16 seconds to go. You got maximum 3 plays at this point before halftime.
Oh, I don't know if you have that. Well, you will with this timekeeper. I noticed he stopped the clock before the official stopped it. I mean, he's pretty good. That's the home field advantage.
Jenks only has 1 timeout left, so they're going to have to be very careful with that.
You know, their whole deal is they need to try to just get in field goal range and try it. I don't know if their field goal kickers
I was going
to
say, the question is, what is field goal range for Jenks?
I know if it's the kickoff guy, they're going to have to get inside the 10.
1st down and 10 from the Broken Arrow 36-yard line. Ball on the left hash. Trojans moving right to left. Broken Arrow leading 24-14. Trying to keep it a 10-point advantage going into the halftime locker room. Trips left, 2 receivers right for Kittleman in the shotgun. Now he motions a man into the backfield with him. That is Forbes. Here's the snap. Kittleman looking left, still looking left, stepping up, zings it over the middle. It's caught inside the 20-yard line. Hit immediately and brought down was the receiving man, Glenver Jones. I think that was Williams that brought him down. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 19 now with 9 seconds remaining.
We're running that 2-level defense again where everybody's at the line of scrimmage, and then you have, your secondary on the same level, about 10, 15 yards off the line of scrimmage. So
Jenks took a timeout here, which surprises me, Spav. I thought they might spike it, because then you keep the timeout to set up your field goal unit. Now, because
you had time to line up.
Absolutely. If you throw this ball and it's caught and you're tackled in the field of play, or if you're sacked, that's the half at this point. You're not going to have time to trot your field goal unit out there. Now, it may be that they just decided, hey, we can't kick a field goal here. We're just going to have to try to get it in the end zone. But
well, the ball on the 19-yard line, they still can throw some vertical type situations, but we're going to come after them. We're going to probably run that double tier or not have anybody at the line of scrimmage.
Here comes the offense. 1st and 10 from the Broken Arrow 19. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Tight end right is Adams. Kittleman with Forbes to his left, and Forbes has been a combo blocker / delayed route runner when he's been lined up in the backfield in this game.
Interesting formation, isn't it?
Shotgun set. Here's the snap. Kittleman looking right. He's under pressure. Zings it over the middle. It's incomplete, just behind Adams. 5 seconds left, so they'll have time for one more play. There was a coach that was rather displeased with something. I'm not sure what, and it looks like we'll have the field goal unit come on here.
Getting that tight end down the middle. The tight end's our leading receiver, and he does a good job.
Well, Kittleman is less than happy as well coming off the sideline.
Just threw the ball behind him.
We got a timeout from Broken Arrow.
Timeout, Tigers.
So that's Paskvin that will be doing the kicking. And BA just wanted to make sure they've got everybody lined up properly here. 24-14, Broken Arrow leading as we approach halftime. Broken Arrow dominated the first quarter, led 10-0 after the quarter, immediately took a 17-0 lead early in the second. But officially in the second quarter, these teams have each scored 14 points. Kittleman has come alive in the second quarter, 12 for 18, throwing the ball for 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Raines, 2 for 4 for 27 yards and a score. The Tigers have run the ball for nearly 100 yards here in the first half, but Broken Arrow has only run 19 plays, Spav, and Jenks has run 33.
I know. I mean, look at, ball possession is just unbelievable. I mean, the possession time, I should say. I mean, it's like 15 minutes to 8 minutes.
This will be a 36-yarder off the right foot. The kick is up. It is long enough, and it's good.
Man.
So we've had 2 kicks of 36-plus that have gone through in this game. And Broken Arrow now leads by only a touchdown, 24-17. And Spav, I think we got to give some credit to Jenks for the way they battled back in this second quarter.
I know, because 17-0, and then you get back into the game. This is a ball game right now.
There's only 2 seconds left on the clock, so the Tigers will have a chance to do something on the kick return here.
But I don't think you can really say statistically what's happening. And even time of possession. I mean, obviously you lose those battles, you're going to lose the games in a lot of percentages. But we've had such great field possession.
Well, that and you put points on the board by blocking a punt at one point.
Yes.
So you essentially gave away a possession in terms of times of possession. So that'll skew that against you in a hurry, even though a very positive thing happened for Broken Arrow in that instance.
But when we needed to respond offensively, we didn't. And we got to do that. We got to straighten that up, because defensively we had them. I mean, our offense had their defense really off balance. They had no idea what we were going to do. Now they're figuring it out.
Barnett, Williams, and Horn are back to receive. Paskvin, who just made the field goal, will kick off. Squibs this one up the middle and hit off the foot of a Broken Arrow player, and now they're trying to return it over the far side, wrapped up and brought down at the 26-yard line. That was Moore, who was trying to find some sort of space on that kick return. But that will end it for this first half. 24-17, Broken Arrow leads. It's not the massive momentum that BA had early on in the half, but the Tigers will have the football to start the second half of play.
And the lead, too.
And the lead. That's never a bad place to be. If you can have the lead and the ball coming out of halftime, that's generally an envious spot to be in.
Absolutely.
We'll see if we get to hear from Ryan Wyckoff here before we head into halftime. I think. All right, let's send it down to Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan?
Hey, Coach, just tell me about when the game started. We saw a lot of energy. Tell me about the energy and excitement your team came in with today.
Well, a lot of pent-up energy, man. It's been 21 days since we played a football game. That's more time than we had when we started in August, right before a game. And plus it's Jenks, at their place. Hey, if you can't get excited to play in this game, man, you don't have a heart.
Right. Now we've seen a lot of big plays. You guys were up early, and now you got this Jenks team coming back. I mean, how do you respond to that in the second half? What do you talk to your team about?
Well, that's exactly what we talked about all week, right? This game is going to end just like the last couple have, right? With somebody at the goal line, and somebody's going to have to make a play. We're going to have to play all 48 minutes if we're going to win this thing.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck second half.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And Spav, before we head to halftime here, obviously the Tigers came out, had the first big punch. They go up by 17 points. Jenks able to respond. Now, the defense has not given up just a ton of big plays. I mean, there were a couple of kind of phenomenal plays by Walls that kept that drive alive, fantastic catches, but it's not like the defense is just being gashed one way and the other.
No, they're not. They're making them earn their first down.
Right. So how do the Tigers kind of start to get momentum back in their favor in the second half, do you think?
Well, I think number one is we need to establish the pass. We're not doing that. We need to establish the pass. They're starting to figure out with movements and what we're doing run-wise. Now, we're still going to be able to run effectively.
Yeah, you're looking at 15 runs to 4 passes right now for the Tiger offense.
But I'm telling you what, I think they're weak on the back end if we can just establish the passing game a little better. And that's going to help us because they're going to start to figure out the run, like I said. So that is going to be real crucial. Defense is playing well. I like the way they're playing the two-tier type defense, because that's just confusion. That's confusion for the offense, and obviously it's confusing them. We're not giving the quarterback a lot of time to throw the ball. We're keeping him really uncomfortable, but he's making some great plays and great throws, and we've seen some great catches, and that's with a lot of pressure on him. So I'm just really glad to see that.
We should mention specifically with the passing game that it's not as if Raines has thrown the ball poorly. He's 2 for 4 for 27 yards and a touchdown. That's, almost 15 yards of completion. So he's throwing the ball pretty well, just hasn't thrown it a lot so far in this game.
But we've never really established the throwing game. You have to establish the throwing game. It's got to be part of your offense. And Raines can throw, and we have receivers. We got to develop a passing game, because we can't sit there and say we're going to run all the time. Now, we do it very successfully now. Trust you, right now, we're running the ball very well.
6 yards of carry.
And they're making arm tackles, and they could have been even further yardage.
24-7 is the halftime score. Broken Arrow leading here at Jenks. We'll take a break. This is Broken Arrow Tiger football here on ArrowVision.
Recently, you've had to put your life on hold, and we're with you in this. At Ascension St. John, we're now open for appointments, and we are fully prepared for your safety in our care. As we open our doors again, our doctors, nurses, and care teams will continue to wear personal protective equipment. We've taken even more steps to clean and stringently disinfect all areas. We will maintain distancing in our waiting rooms, and will continue to limit visitors. And we will still screen all staff to protect their health and yours. Our emergency rooms are here 24/7. Please do not delay care. We're still delivering babies and performing surgeries. And we're open for your appointments, from specialists and surgical care to routine care and health screenings. Ask us about virtual visits. Ascension St. John continues to care for you, as we have been for almost a century. Thank you for trusting us.
For families who like to build their wealth while staying liquid, we have flexible rate CDs to keep your funds working hard, even when you're not. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Welcome to Halftime Show. This is Ken Ellett, and our guest today is Rod Jones, head wrestling coach for the Broken Arrow Tigers. Coach Jones, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Coach Ellett. It's always good to sit down and to talk with you, for sure.
Going to be an interesting year for you. I think, if I recall, you lost a pretty group of seniors this last year.
Yeah, we lost another really good, it was a championship team, a record-setting year last year with the group of guys that we had. And there was a lot of seniors on the team, and it's kind of funny if you think about it in regards to the year before when we were looking at a team full of seniors. Zach Marcaselli became a 4-time state champion. Reese Whitcraft was a 2-time state champ. Gavin Potter was a 2-time state champion. Blake Gonzalez was a state finalist. And, so you see, 1 year if you got a senior heavy team, and then the next year you may feel like you have a young team. But we went back-to-back seasons, championship seasons, with a lot of seniors in the lineup. And to be honest with you, looking at this year's lineup, it's going to be a lot of seniors, which is a good problem to have, really.
You bet.
If you think about it, you don't want to fluctuate from an older group, and you see that a lot, to a younger group. And then wait till that younger group grows up to have another older group. We're doing a pretty good job right now with the guys that we have in the room, being close to being the starters, sophomores, juniors, and then finally breaking into the lineup their senior year. So, and we're looking for a lot of senior leadership, just like we have the last couple of years.
You know, that's a great way to have it working where you're filling in gaps with seniors. I mean, that doesn't happen in a lot of programs.
I would love to take credit for orchestrating it and planning it out that way, but it's just kind of the way the program is trending right now. And if you try to predict or forecast freshmen and even sophomores into this year's lineup, it's not easy to do. Not that, we won't have a freshman or we won't have a sophomore, but the challenge is becoming more challenging for a freshman or a sophomore to come in and to break into the starting lineup. And if they do, they're generally going to be, ready for the competition at the time.
When you look back to the success of the program this last year, the year before, I mean, it's kind of almost seems surreal to a certain degree, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know that I've seen a team any better ever,
Well, 2 years in a row, you could definitely look at it. If you don't want to break it down to individual years and the 18-19 season being a record-setting year, for people that keep stats in that area and then communicate that to us. I mean, obviously, we never enter a season, looking to break, records or set team scoring records or anything like that. But that year, the 18-19 season, was a record-setting year as far as the number of points that were scored at the state tournament. So to follow that up by pushing the bar even higher than we did the year before is pretty incredible. To step back and to give yourself an opportunity to look at it and then kind of maybe to be in the moment again, but we're so busy planning for the future and
Right.
looking at everything that we have to look at this year for this upcoming season with the situation that everybody's under, so we don't really have a whole lot of time to bask in the glory.
Absolutely.
It's moving forward.
Well, you wouldn't want to anyway. I mean, that's the kind of coaches you guys are. Let's talk about this year's team. You got some leadership coming back. Who are the kids you're kind of looking for to fill that role?
As far as, guys that you're looking to, take over the role of leadership to the younger guys and to everybody in the program all the way down to the 7th graders and the 8th graders, you obviously have state placers and state finalists. Christian Forbes is a state finalist. He's back this year. He'll be a junior.
What weight class is he?
He'll be a 106-pounder.
Okay.
He's ranked in the top 10 nationally. You move up the lineup, you got Parker Whitcraft returns. He was a state placer last year. Blasik Perez was a state finalist. Jared Hill was a state finalist. Emmanuel Skillings was a state champion last year. And then we have, like I kind of alluded to as far as the senior situation is, we've got a lot of guys that were on the verge of being on the lineup last year that will be seniors, like Braden Anderson. He's fingertips away from a final ranking match last year to being in the state tournament and possibly being a state placer. You look at the returning points across the board for everybody, and you kind of know what the playing field looks like, and you know how many points that you may be down and that you need to find. I feel very confident that we're going to be able to find the points that we need to put us in a situation towards the end of the year that we're competing for a championship.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. When you look at the wrestling program this time of year, what are we doing as far as wrestling, and how does it change from now till all of a sudden you're wrestling that first match and then you're to the middle of the season? I know you guys have a plan for that whole thing.
Well, the plan is always shifting. It's not set in stone. You always take the group of guys that you have and evaluate, where you're at and, where you need to be. The culture around Broken Arrow Wrestling nowadays and these days is we're training quite a bit year-round and finding competitions year-round. So it's not like, when school starts, you get a group of guys that haven't been on the mats, that haven't been in the weight room, that haven't been on the road. So you take that group, and then you also, look down the future and know it's going to get cold, it's going to get dark, it's going to, your weight cutting, weight management's going to become a factor, and you want to do everything, everything you can to ensure that they're at their peak, their best when they need to be, and that's the last few weeks of the season, the postseason, the dual state, the regionals, and the state tournament. With this group right here, we're going in the room, but we're also, like yesterday, for example, was a really nice day. So I thought in my mind that they probably needed a little bit more vitamin D, and sunlight would probably be more beneficial for them than being in a restaurant where they're going to spend a lot of time, especially when the the winter months hit and the season gets here. So you just kind of try to keep them fresh, and just try to get their legs in shape, try to get their bodies in shape. There's a degree of hardening your, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you got to make your body hard for wrestling because of the abuse that you just take day after day after day after day. So there's a process to kind of getting your body in shape, ready for a full-fledged, full-go wrestling season.
As we look at the season coming up, from a conference standpoint, what does it look like? From a state standpoint, what does it look like? Who's the teams that we need to keep an eye on, other than Broken Arrow?
There's a lot of good competition, and there always is a lot of good competition. There's a lot of good coaches out there. There's a lot of good programs. But knowing absolutely who we're keeping our eyes on and who we're watching, and who we know that if, from last year's state tournament, if they're returning X amount of points, and that's, so many points more than we are, obviously, in a preseason ranking type situation, you would probably say that they would be the preseason favorite just because they return so many points. But there's also teams out there that didn't return as many points as we did. So you're talking about the Mustangs and Choctaws. Stillwater has had a little transition, and they had a legendary Coach Chesbro has stepped down, and they have a new coach, and they have some new guys in the lineup that are going to be really good. So we got to pay attention and figure out what, but the usual suspects, the Unions, the Sand Springs, the Edmond Norse, they're all going to have good programs. So the competition's always going to, just like, it always is. It's going to be tough.
Before we get done here, just real quick, I want to talk about your coaching staff. You've got a great coaching staff. I think pretty much same faces.
Pretty much same faces, same group of guys as last year, probably with minus Neil Phillips, who for personal reasons has decided to step away from coaching, and we filled that spot with the Broken Arrow alumni, two-time NCAA Division II All-American at heavyweight Cody Johnson, to fill that area, that need where you have a 235-pound Emmanuel Skillings in the room, and the other big guys in the room, the 95-pounders and the heavyweights and stuff like that. And Cody's still young enough that he can put his shoes on and get on the mat with those guys, which is going to be really big. But no, the coaching staff, you can't do any of this without the community, without the coaching staff. Obviously, Coach Biff is kind of going full attention right now on our 7th and 8th grade team that we get every day of the school year that comes over here, probably 70-plus strong right now. And kind of seeing some of that from last year, those 8th graders that are now in the high school varsity room that are freshmen, and where they're at, as far as their growth and experience and things like that. So yeah, absolutely, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of kids running around here, and the coaches do an outstanding job of meeting their needs and taking care of the kids.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. I know it's going to be another exciting year for the wrestling program, and look forward to see what comes down the pike.
Thank you so much, guys. It's going to be an exciting year.
Georgia Weezy, cream to the maximum, but be asking them what you
For families who like to build their wealth while staying liquid, we have flexible rate CDs to keep your funds working hard, even when you're not. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Just a reminder, there will come a time when they can no longer share a bedroom. That's why we have a complete array of home loans, so that dream of more space can come true. Right on time. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Recently, you've had to put your life on hold, and we're with you in this. At Ascension St. John, we're now open for appointments, and we are fully prepared for your safety and our care. As we open our doors again, our doctors, nurses, and care teams will continue to wear personal protective equipment. We've taken even more steps to clean and stringently disinfect all areas. We will maintain distancing in our waiting rooms, and will continue to limit visitors. And we will still screen all staff to protect their health and yours. Our emergency rooms are here 24/7. Please do not delay care. We're still delivering babies and performing surgeries. And we're open for your appointments, from specialists in surgical care to routine care and health screenings. Ask us about virtual visits. Ascension St. John continues to care for you, as we have been for almost a century. Thank you for trusting us.
Halftime between Broken Arrow and Jenks, and it sees the Tigers leading by a score of 24-17 over the Trojans as we get set to head towards the second half of play. Number 3 Broken Arrow, number 2 Jenks, both coming in with records of 2-1, and the Tigers looking to win a 4th straight over the Trojans. I'm Adam Hildebrandt alongside Steve Spavital. Ryan Wyckoff is on the sidelines, and Spav, I understand we have a Tiger great tuned in to us this evening.
Yeah, you know, Andrew Rame was our outstanding offensive lineman, and did play some defensive linemen for us too. But he's just a wonderful lineman and a wonderful young man, and a great family. But I tell you, he's playing for OU. He's up in Ames, Iowa. They play Iowa State this week, and he's listening to the game in his hotel room. So Andrew, hello, and we're glad you're listening in, and good luck to you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always you never quite know what's going to happen in Ames, Iowa. Some wacky stuff can happen up there. Let's go down to the sideline, and Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan, how are you as we head towards the second half?
Doing good. Spav, you forgot about wide receiver, is that it? Or was it tight end where he caught the touchdown last year?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You got all positions, Spav. We need to get all positions.
That's right. That's right. Well, guy, when you're a stud like he is, and then, of course, he's at OU, and they just say, what position are you going to play? I mean, he could play center, he can play guard, play tackle. I mean, it's unbelievable what the young man can do, and he's just a freshman.
Well, we've seen what I would call an improvement in line play here this evening, Spav, for the Tigers. Both sides of the ball up front seem to have taken steps forward with that extra time off that they had over the last couple weeks.
I think so, too. Just, the different formations, multiple, and keeping both defenses off balance, but we've answered the bell a lot better than most people probably would have expected. But things that hurt Jenks was penalties. They had 4 for 30, and we didn't have any. So, but our defense was playing so well that Jenks is like 1 for 4 on third down conversions. So that's huge. That's a huge factor. When you look at most of it is our opponents have been over 60% of the time on third down conversions. Field positions was huge. Just take the first 4 drives that we had. I mean, we were in such tremendous field position, and that's huge when you get down to a game like this. And statistically, like I said, it's like 70% of the time you're going to win a game if you can win that battle. And then, of course, with us, the special teams has been a big factor. They don't want to punt the football.
No, I would say not, especially how the last one turned out. Now, it was certainly fun watching Broken Arrow go on that early run. They go up 17-0. But let's not pretend that anyone expected Broken Arrow to just come in here and blow Jenks out. This is an awfully good Jenks football team, and so it shouldn't certainly surprise anyone to see that they have climbed their way back into this game. But now, if this can go one of two ways. This can be a dogfight the rest of the way, or it can be one of those games where you do enough to hold Jenks at arm's length the rest of the way, and this opening drive of the second half is going to go a long way to establishing that.
It's just going to depend on who's making the better halftime adjustments.
It's a high kickoff to start the second half. It hits at the 20-yard line and goes out of bounds. That'll be, well, in theory, that would come out to the 35, and we have an offsides flag all the way back at the 40. So Jenks will roll it back and try again. And that's interesting because
you don't see that very often.
You don't, but Paskvin, their kicker, came out and teed the ball up at the 40 before the Tigers came out to warm up for the second half and kicked it the length of the field, but it landed on the 3-yard line. I don't know if that was a test, and they said if you can kick it all the way, then you can kick it off deep or what, but he tried that before.
Well, he's not a deep kicker to begin with, so if he's going to kick it deep, the first thing is don't kick it. I mean, who are you going to kick it to?
He's lined up to try to kick it deep right now.
I know.
The ball's at the 35-yard line now, and Paskvin puts a leg into it. It's a good kick. Picked up by Barnett inside the 10-yard line. Got room to work back up the middle of the field across the 25 to the 30 and brought down to the 31. That's a good return, but
very good.
Kicking it out of bounds actually ended up being a net positive 4 yards for Jenks.
I know.
You do not see that very often.
Yeah. That was good coverage by them, but it was just it was a great return as well because it was a pretty deep kick.
It was. He actually backed Barnett up on that. Barnett had come out to about the 12 or 13-yard line and had to go back inside the 10 to make the catch and bring it out. Here comes the Tiger offense. Again, Broken Arrow has only run 19 plays in this game and had the ball for less than 9 minutes. They had the ball for only 17 minutes in the game against Owasso. So this is an offense that simply hasn't been on the field very much the last couple of games. Hand off to Horn, left side out of the shotgun, trying to turn the corner, and he can't find it. A slight gain,
Still
maybe 2
yards.
yards.
Well,
brings up 2nd and 8.
They went away from the what I call that nasty slot type situation. That's where the tight end flexes a little like another man, and they put a fullback off the line of scrimmage between them. That just widens that gap, and they ran away with it. They went away from it.
Two receivers left, tight end to either side in a pistol single set. Handoff to Horn, looking for the cutback, but a defender, I think, showed late in the hole there. He runs into the back
I thought he had
of
it there for a minute.
Still a gain of 2 yards, maybe 1. It'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 7 for the Broken Arrow offense.
I thought he had that cutback there for just a minute. So, this is where Coach Wilkinson's great. These 3rd and medium type situations, he's really good at this because you think he's going to have to throw the football, but he's really, he'll run the ball in a second.
3 receivers right. Here's the snap. Raines looking to throw, fires it over the middle. It's caught by Talley very near the first down marker.
First down.
And I think he's going to have it. Talley's eventually thrown backwards, but they're marking him with enough for the first.
Good.
And credit Talley there for knowing where his route was and where the chains were and staying behind those chains, even as Raines kind of scrambled around a little bit.
And Raines had a lot of pressure on him.
Right back to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers and a tight end right. They hand it off to Horn right side. He's got some room. Check that. It's Banks through the hole at the 50, and it's a foot race. 35 up the right sideline to the 20. The defender dives and can't get him. Touchdown, Tigers. Sanchez Banks over the right side and takes it all the way up the sideline for the score.
They just don't have any answers.
That
Look
puts
at this.
Broken Arrow up right back up by 2 scores.
I mean, he wasn't even touched. He ran through that thing.
Garrett on for the PAT, a 58-yard touchdown run by Sanchez Banks. He's got 10 carries for 125 yards and 2 scores in the game. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way, and it is no good. He missed it right. But Broken Arrow leads 30-17 with 10:16 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Spav, that's the answer we were looking for right there coming out of halftime.
Exactly. Boy, he has speed. I tell you, the speed that he had, he ran through that hole untouched. And some of them had angles on him, but boy, he just outran them. Very good play selection, what we're doing.
You talked at halftime about trying to establish the passing game. The Tigers only threw it once on that drive, but it converted a 3rd down on 3rd and 6. And now Broken Arrow as a team is averaging nearly 9 yards a carry so far in this game. So the offense still clearly very effective. They've still only had the ball for 10.5 minutes and 23 plays, but now the Tigers leading 30-17. And we'll see if special teams continues to come into play. And one thing we didn't talk about, Spav, with the Tigers going north to south here in this 3rd quarter, they'll have the wind at their backs in the 4th. That could be a huge advantage down the stretch.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what's going to happen, too, when we get down the stretch is Jenks is going to have to take chances. They're going to have to panic. They're going to panic a little bit. And they're going to get a little too cute sometimes because they want that quick score. It's not going to happen now. And they're going to have to come around and play some better defense because their defense has not really stopped our offense. We've stopped ourselves. And so right now in our defense, we are really keeping their offense off balance a little bit. So we'll see how they respond. We'll see how they respond on this here.
Now, the main way that Jenks has succeeded offensively in this game is throwing the football. What do you think the defense needs to do to adjust to that and try to slow that down a little bit here in the second half?
Well, a good question because we're putting a lot of pressure on him. The quarterback is just taking he's just doing a great job for them. He's got pressure all over him, and he's just making some good throws. But we've made him make some panic throws, too.
Garrett with a high kick that's fair caught inside the 30-yard line for Jenks. They mark him right at the 30, and that's where the Trojans will have their first offensive possession of the second half. Broken Arrow leading 30-17. Again, both of these teams 2-1 on the year. Both losses to very good competition. Broken Arrow losing at home to Owasso and Jenks losing at Bixby early on in the season. The Trojans threw it for 189 yards in the first half, ran it for 48. But the Tiger defense in the first quarter held Jenks scoreless. All 17 of Jenks' points came in the second frame. 1st and 10 for the Trojans from their own 30. Pistol set, 2 tight ends left, 1 receiver to either side with the ball on the right hash. And it is Lohr behind Kittleman in the pistol. Kittleman takes the snap, hands it off to Lohr, trying the left side, bounces it outside. He's got a hole across the 35 to the 40, outside now to the 50, and it's a foot race again at the left side this time. Lohr did not win the race defensively, and he's drugged down from behind this time as well, all the way down at the Broken Arrow 30-yard line. So that is a gain of 40 to start this possession for the Jenks Trojans.
Well, he bounced that thing outside. What, you know, is originally designed in, but the way we moved, they sealed it, and he bounced it outside, and it was clean. God, it was clean.
So immediately the Tigers face a defensive situation inside their own territory here in the third quarter. Broken Arrow leading 30-17 though. 1 receiver to either side, a tight end on either side. Shotgun set this time with Forbes to the right as the running back. They hand it to Forbes, trying the right side. Gets through the hole and now breaks a couple of tackles inside the 20. Still bouncing off of tacklers inside the 10-yard line and shoved down around the 7. He just looked like he was in a pinball machine there. They couldn't get him to the ground.
Well, he made a great run. They motioned the tight end over it, and he made a good kick-out block, and then he just started cutting back against the seam. He almost got tackled at the line of scrimmage. He just basically wormed his way through there and then made a great run.
Lohr is in the game. I think Forbes is as well. On 1st and goal from the Broken Arrow 8 for Jenks. 9:38 to go in the third. Broken Arrow leading 30-17. 1 receiver split left, now 2 receivers split left as a matter of fact, and it's a wildcat formation with Lohr in to take the snap. Hand takes it himself over the right side through the hole, and he's in for the score. That was too easy for Jenks right there.
Well, I know they're scoring pretty quick right there, but we are too.
We are less than 2 minutes.
Boy, this is the battle of offenses right now, isn't it?
2:37 into the third quarter, and each team has already scored with fairly minimal plays, I might add. That's just a 3-play, 70-yard drive for Jenks. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. It's a line drive kick, but it is good. And suddenly it's just a 6-point game, 30-24 with 9:23 to go. And I
hope that extra point doesn't become a factor.
It's starting to look like a possibility. And as we heard from Coach Alexander at halftime, he told his team before the game, this is the kind of game where it might come down to someone's at the goal line, and it depends on who makes the play. And we seem to be trending in that direction right now.
Yes. But, you know, we've responded each time, so we'll see what happens here.
Just like that, we spoke about being, keeping Jenks at arm's length earlier. That may involve at this point just keep, scoring every time to go back up 2 possessions and keeping the ball out of Jenks' hands with a chance to tie it or take the lead.
Right. Well, the interesting thing on that drive was they ran the football. You know, all the drives they had before, it was the passing game that put them in field position. Now it was running the ball there. So they're finding an answer now what they're doing. They're mixing things up. They're motioning the big tight end around and having him lead up in the hole or kick out, doing some effective things.
Jenks ran the ball for 48 yards in the first half. They ran it for 70 yards on that drive.
Right.
And that adds certainly another dimension to the Trojan offense that Broken Arrow really has bottled up pretty well tonight. 30-24, Tigers still leading. 9:23 to go here in the third quarter.
Now this kickoff, the return team of ours, is just so dangerous. You can kick it anywhere and they can return it.
It is Barnett, Horn, and Johnson back to return this.
A lot of speed back there, a lot of speed. They find one little seam and they're gone.
The last kickoff was the first time we've seen Jenks kick it deep. This kick is away. It's short up the near side. Caught at the 20-yard line. That's Moore around the near side, scampering up the sideline across the 40-yard line and shoved out of bounds out around the 45. That was an excellent return by Dietrich Moore, who had one blocker in front of him. That was it. Let's go down to the sideline and Ryan Wyckoff. Ryan?
Yeah, you may have noticed you saw Jalen Johnson out there on that last kickoff return, and typically I think that would be Corey Williams. Corey Williams, I think may have had a little bit of a stinger or something. Looked like he was getting a brace put on his elbow. So, I mean, Spavs talked about before how hard of a hitter he is, but so it looks like we'll see him, but look like he may have got a little banged up.
All right, good catch, Ryan. Thank you. And that was when I noticed Johnson instead of Williams, I thought, well, that's a little peculiar. Now we know why. Two receivers split way out to the left side, both outside the hashes with the ball on the right hash. Here's the snap, fake handoff. Instead, they give it to Barnett over the far side on the reverse across midfield and drug down around the 45-yard line. That will be very close to a first down. I think he is given the first down, yes. And Barnett on the reverse moves the chains on the first play of the drive for the Tigers. Again, Spav, excellent starting field position, and just like that, you're in Jenks territory.
And then Coach Wilson coming up with a creative play. You knew something was up because you had a short split into the boundary, but you didn't know. But with Jenks being so aggressive on defense, perfect play.
Two receivers and a tight end right. They hand it off right side, and that is Banks, I believe, running with it. Spun around. He didn't quite go down to a knee, but he was flung down on the second attempt. A loss of about a foot. Brings up second down and a long 10 yards here for Broken Arrow.
It was a tough run. What happened? We just didn't get the backside blocked. They had some movements there. We had the point of attack, but we didn't get the backside, and he was looking for that cutback, and it wasn't there.
Second down and 10. Spears Jennings splits out to the left side. Talley to the right. Barnett in the slot right side. And the tight end Stiber is lined up to the right as well.
Movement. We have movement on the line.
Flag comes from the far official. And that'll back Broken Arrow up 5 yards. That's the first penalty of the game for the Tigers.
And just a 5-yarder. And that was really slight, too.
It does put Broken Arrow well behind the chains, though. Second down and 15 here. Jake Raines, 3 for 5 so far in the game for 34 yards and a score. We may see him get to air it out here. Banks to his left in the shotgun. Two receivers split to either side. I believe that's Stiber lined up in the slot in the far side as the inside receiver. Here's the snap, handoff to Banks near side. Bottled up immediately and brought down for about a 3-yard loss. Initially, it looked like that hole was going to be there, but a defender came from the backside and really condensed everything.
Right, and they slanted the line that way as well. And it made it a little more difficult to block as well.
That brings up third down and 17.
Their coverage was really weak to the field. It was really weak to the field. I hope we noticed that.
3rd and 17 here. Talley and Barnett split to the left. Stiber, the tight end, left as well. It's Spears Jennings by himself on the right side, the short side of the field. Here's the snap on 3rd and long. Steps up, Raines looking right, launches it over the right side. It's deflected, incomplete. Defender looked like he got there a little bit early, and the official is going to go have words with the defender who was, shall we say, letting Spears Jennings know about that one a little bit. That'll bring up 4th down and 17, and here comes the punt team for Broken Arrow.
That was pretty tight coverage. From our view, you couldn't tell. I mean, there could have been some pass interference on that.
Even had it been caught successfully, had he been immediately tackled, I don't think he would have had enough for the first down anyway. Punt team is on.
True.
That is Patrick back to receive, and it looks like they ran into the kicker. Not quite, but it's a great roll for the Tigers. It's caught up by Patrick at the 12-yard line. He scampers out of bounds at the 14. Dodd narrowly avoided being run into, but he got a good kick away, and it took a great Tiger bounce. That puts Jenks all the way back at its own 13-yard line. And that's where the Trojans will start 1st and 10. And this is a big chance. You've got the field position on your side now. The defense hasn't come up with a stop in a couple of drives, but a big chance to make a statement here about midway through the 3rd quarter.
And not let them run the football. We can't let them run the football. Make them throw it.
And if you can find a way to make them punt from inside their own red zone,
we're going to block that.
That's really going to put some pressure on. 30-24, Broken Arrow leading Jenks. 7:15 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Jenks was trying to get a big play on the punt because they were trying to block it.
Absolutely. That's Wall split left.
Changing the strength.
Two tight ends move to the near side. Pistol set. I believe that's Lohr behind Kittleman. Here's the snap. Handoff near side. It is to Lohr. He's hit immediately in the backfield and brought down for about a 2-yard loss. The receiver on that far side, it looked like it was Josh Heck into the game over there. Tried to point out what was happening and that there was a corner blitz coming, but he didn't have time before the snap to point it out, and it worked in the Tigers' favor. Lohr loses, well, they just say he lost a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11.
Well, Brackett made a tremendous play on that. I'm telling you, they had a seam, they had a hole, but he got off his block and made the play.
Forbes is in there at running back now. Tight end right, shotgun set, 2 receivers left, 1 right on 2nd and 11. Here's the snap. Kittleman wants to throw. Looking left, steps up in the pocket. Now scrambling. He's under pressure. Zings it over the left side, and it is, I believe, caught. Yes, it is caught out at the 29-yard line. That'll be a 1st down for the Trojans. Very patient play by Stephen Kittleman, the quarterback.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. And especially going left. You know, he had to get his body turned and make a great throw, and he threw a rocket.
They mark him down at the 27, but it's still a 1st down for Jenks, and that gives the Trojans some real breathing room.
It opens up their playbook quite a bit, yes.
Frankly, I was a little surprised to see them just with a straight three-step drop there and not, play action or anything along those lines. Bunch right with the ball on the left hash. 1 receiver left side on 1st and 10 from their own 27. Here's the snap. It's a direct snap to Lohr. Trying the right side, trying to turn the corner. They strung it out well. Williams trying to wrestle him down and does so, but not before a gain of about 4 yards out to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I mean, it was, we forced it to bounce to the perimeter, and, we just got to chase it a little better. Chase it a little better, and that 5-yard gain becomes like a 2-yard gain if we chase it just a little bit better.
Lohr will come out of the game briefly. 2nd down and 5 upcoming for the Jenks Trojans. Broken Arrow leading 30-24. Broken Arrow ranked 3rd in the state, Jenks 2nd. Owasso the top spot right now. 1 receiver right, that's Jaden Patrick. 2 receiver split left in the shotgun set. Forbes to the left of Kittleman. Kittleman wants to throw. It's caught on the near side. Lots of room to work across midfield, and brought down around the 34-yard line was Ty Walls. Another big play for Walls, who they've gone to consistently. They found him wide open on the near side, and he sprinted between the hashes for a big gain, but Walls is a little slow to get up here.
Well, yeah, he got hit hard. He came underneath the routes. They had 3 receivers here. The inside 2 receivers came vertical, and he came across the middle there in just a little hole, caught the ball, and then had the seam.
Looks like a bit of a cramp for Walls there, so getting stretched out on the field now, but
on these cool nights, you have a tendency not to drink as much fluids like you would in a real hot night.
Well, and keep in mind, nobody was really in game shape to start the season because you didn't have that kind of conditioning before the season started, and then both of these teams have been on a 3-week break,
right.
So that game conditioning really still probably hasn't caught up to most teams this year as they try to really get their season rolling. Broken Arrow leading 30-24, but Jenks into Tiger territory at the 33-yard line. And the Jenks offense has really gotten things rolling here. That Tiger defense was very, very good over the course of the first quarter. But the Jenks offense has made some adjustments and clearly had the Tigers' number over the last few drives here.
Right.
This would be the second drive. If Jenks were to go score, would be the second drive of 85 yards or longer in this game for the Tigers.
That's true.
For the Trojans.
Changing the strength again.
Yep.
Now
2 tight ends left.
We're creating a wide. See how we created a wide edge there.
Here's that Wildcat formation again. That was Lohr taking the direct snap. He's hit at the 29-yard line, fighting his way forward and brought down after a gain of 5, maybe 6 yards.
I just don't like the way we adjusted to that right there. Once they changed the strength, we didn't move anybody over except we put the end out wider, and we created a C gap in there.
We got a Broken Arrow player slow to get up.
That was huge.
4:30 to go here in the third quarter. And that is Dietrich Moore, the Tiger, who's still on the playing surface. The training staff has come out to tend to him. 30-24, Broken Arrow leading. The Tigers were up 17-0, but now that lead is very much in danger. The Tigers, though, some keys that we talked about before the game, Spab: third down conversions. Broken Arrow 4 for 7, Jenks 1 for 4. The Tigers have kind of flipped the script on that, but
exactly.
Frankly, I can't remember the last time the Jenks offense was in a third down situation. It's been a while.
I know.
They've been so good on first and second down, they just haven't been in third downs very often recently.
They're keeping our defense off balance now, which is completely opposite of the first half, where I felt like our defense was dictating to them. And they found some answers. So, they're running the football a little more effective. They're changing the strength. And we know they can throw the football, so it opens it up a little bit more.
Dietrich Moore up and walking off under his own power. Inhaling as much water as he can on his way over to the sidelines.
Again, it could be a cramp. I'm not sure, but again, on these nice, cool nights, you just don't drink as much fluid as you need to.
The offense back out on the field for Jenks. 2nd down and 6 from the BA 29-yard line. 2 tight ends right. What you bet they're going to shift this over right here? There they go. The 2 tight ends shift from right to left. Pistol set. Kittleman has Lohr behind him. He fakes the handoff, wants to throw it, rolling to his right, zings it back over the middle of the field, but it's too low, incomplete.
Man, he had the deep out route wide open.
That was Adams, who we haven't seen involved in the passing game just a ton tonight. That would have only been his 2nd catch. There are actually 4 other players who have more receptions than him this evening, which is abnormal.
He was open, but boy, I tell you, it would have been the natural throw to hit that deep out.
Absolutely. Running to your right, that's an in-rhythm throw there. To put some perspective on those reception numbers, Adams had 9 receptions coming into the game. The next closest guy on the team had 6. So he's been their leading receiver certainly over the course of this season. 3rd down and 6, and a big chance here for Broken Arrow. Trips right, 2 receivers left, Kittleman in the empty set. Quick throw left side, it's caught by Lohr, and 2 men miss, and he's going to score. Touchdown Trojans. It's tied at 30 apiece. Just a quick pass to the left side. There were 2 defenders in the area, but nobody could get him down, and Lohr scores to tie it up with a point after attempt pending.
Boy, that was interesting play, too, because they shifted out of their formation. They shifted out, and they even put the fullback out as number 2 to the field, and they threw it into the boundary there in the empty formation, and that was...
Broken Arrow up by 17 on 2 occasions in this game. The Trojans have come back to tie things up and can now take the lead with the point after attempt. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. It is good. 31-30, Jenks leads. And we got a dogfight.
We got a game now.
Here near the banks of the Arkansas River. The Tigers trailing for the first time in this game, but there is a lot of football left to play. 4:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of football left. We'll respond here. We always do. We'll respond.
This is a big drive coming up for the Tiger offense. Jenks has, after going scoreless in the 1st quarter, put up 31 points. Broken Arrow has scored 20 since the end of that 1st quarter.
Yeah, that's right. The biggest thing is they have almost 400 yards of offense. Jenks does to our 200.
And again, there's a full possession in theory missing in there for the Tigers because they blocked that punt, but you're getting down. I mean, you're still averaging 7 yards a play. The bigger issue right now is Jenks is averaging 9.
Yeah.
So what the defensive lockdown that you had early on the game is gone at this point, and you got to find a way to address that, especially the passing game. Kittleman 15 for 22 for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. You have to find a way to slow down the Jenks passing attack.
Yeah, and we have to. They're running the ball, they're passing the ball. That's why they got 400 yards offense. Well, the thing that we got to do is we've got to find the pass. We've got to start throwing the football a little bit.
The kick is away. High end over end kick. It is caught on the far side at the 15-yard line, looking for a seam up the middle. Breaking tackles across the 30.
He's
brought down at the 33-yard line or so. That was Williams on the return that time. And the Tiger offense again will have decent field position out near its own 35-yard line.
You know, most players would have been tackled at the 25. He did a good job of just finding those little seams and getting up there.
Mulready got the stop for Jenks that time. The receiver split left is Spears Jennings. Barnett in the slot right side. Talley split out at the numbers on the right. Stieber, the tight end. Stieber, motion left to right. Here's the snap, fake handoff. Looking to throw it deep. Rains at the left side. He's got a man. Spears Jennings dropped the ball at the 35-yard line. He was there.
Good ball, too.
That was an excellent route, an excellent throw. Just couldn't haul it in.
Wide open. Great call, though. Great call.
What that might do, though, Spav, is you've shown that execution. You didn't make the catch, but you've shown everything else about that play, and that should force Jenks to call off the dogs a little bit up front.
Well, they won't because they're aggressive, and that's what they're very susceptible to the play-action pass.
See if they go back to it. Here's the snap. Handed off up the middle. Hit immediately as Sanchez Banks falls forward for a gain of about 2 out to the 36-yard line, but that'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
Going to be an interesting call with Coach Wilkinson right now.
Speaking of calls from Coach Wilkinson, I love that call on 1st down. You've just gone down in the game for the first time, come out and hit him right off the bat, and it very nearly worked.
I know, he's good at it. He's good at that. And Jake threw a great football.
3rd down and 8. You need another good throw from Jake Rains here. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Now they bring the running back up behind the line of scrimmage, so Rains essentially in an empty set. Here's the snap. Rains scrambling right, in some trouble, zings it up the right side. It's incomplete. Here comes the flag. That'll be pass interference. 2 flags come in, as a matter of fact. The Jenks sideline is up in arms.
Man, I don't know about that one. Of course, I got to see the replay, but I think they got away with one earlier.
Yeah, I would agree. I think
I'm not
similar to earlier that defender met him just a little bit before the ball was there.
There could have been some handsy stuff going before because it looked like he was about to intercept the ball. So,
well, that is a huge penalty and a momentum saver for the Tigers. Pass interference is indeed the call. Jenks leading 31-30, and Broken Arrow has a chance now to extend this drive, and suddenly you got the ball in Broken Arrow territory at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, and our playbook is open, and we're ready to go.
1st and 10. Stieber into the left side of the formation, and Jenks got into the neutral zone. That's another 5-yard penalty. 2nd down and 5, 1st and 5 coming up now for the Tigers.
There we go.
Now you're getting in their heads a little bit. You can put the 2 count on them, and the wheels start to spin a little bit. That is the 7th penalty for 55 yards for Jenks. Broken Arrow just 1 for 5.
Isn't that crazy? Gosh.
1st and 5 now for Broken Arrow. Spears Jennings splits left. 2 receivers right. Stieber over to the right side of the formation. Hand down as the tight end. Here's the snap. Hand off to Horn left side. He's got a little room. Burst through the hole at the 40-yard line, and he's tackled from behind just inside the 39. That'll be a 1st down.
Great patience on the running back. Great patience running the football.
I didn't catch who came from the backside to make that tackle, but if he doesn't dive and get his legs, then that's going to be at least another 10 yards because he had the angle on the next defender.
Right.
1st and 10, Broken Arrow from the Jenks 38-yard line. And we're now down to 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Talley split left. Stieber, the tight end, left. Another tight end on the right side as well. Now Stieber motions left to right. Pistol set. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Rains wants to throw it. Looking for the wheel at the left side. Horn is wide open behind the defense. It's caught at the 15, inside the 5. Touchdown, Broken Arrow.
Oh, there's a flag.
And there's a flag down.
What a great call.
Back near the line of scrimmage, they faked the handoff to Horn. Coach, he went on the wheel route, and you saw it as it developed.
It was there. Just the formation, the way they unbalanced the formation and wheeled him out. We used to call that the Jenks special.
Illegal man downfield, so I guess one of the linemen got too far up the field.
Ineligible man downfield was the call against the Tigers. That's 5 yards.
Boy, that is a rough way to go.
We'll replay 1st down.
There was a lineman about 7 yards down the field that I presume just didn't have anyone to block, and so was just moving on up the field. That's a tough way to have that one come back.
There.
Perfectly executed. The play calling in this drive has been just absolutely perfect. 1st and 15. Now you're behind the chains again. Handoff to Banks, straight up the middle. Plugs his way forward for about 3, maybe 4 yards, and here comes a flag in from way up the field. That was the back judge that threw that flag to the line of scrimmage. You don't often see holding calls from the back judge, so I'm interested to see what this would be.
It might be on Jenks. The way they're looking is.
Oh, it's a holding against. Or apparently not. Holding against Broken Arrow. That'll move it all the way back to the 50.
So 22. 1st and 22.
1st and 22. And now you really got to find a way to dig out of this hole.
Well, the thing is, you got to try to get the first down. Because you're going to get holding calls.
2 receivers right and a tight end right. 1 receiver left. And a shift.
Can't have that.
And now motion against the Tigers again. A 3rd consecutive penalty. Broken Arrow had 1 penalty up until the last 30 seconds. And now 3 consecutive penalties have moved Broken Arrow all the way back to its own 45-yard line. And it is 1st down and 27 yards to gain. Broken Arrow trailing Jenks 31-30 with 2:11 to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the clock on the move. Back-to-back-to-back penalties. Trips right to the wide side of the field. Stever motions right to left. Here's the snap. Handoff left side. Horn looking for a hole, trying to turn the corner. And he gains about 3 yards out to the 48-yard line. Not a terrible gain in a situation where you don't need 27 yards to get a 1st down.
No, and I like the play selection because you're giving him the ball on the edge, and he's patient. He finds those seams.
Gain of 2. 2nd down.
They chased the ball very well that time, but I guarantee you, he finds that seam, he can score real easily.
2nd down and about 24. The Tigers need the Jenks 28 to move the chains. Here's the snap. Raines wants to throw. Looking right. Got plenty of time. Dumps it out to the near side. Caught by Spears Jennings. He's double teamed immediately. Still drags tacklers forward about 1.5 yards. And now we got some more jawing going on. A lot of guys standing over each other right now after plays have concluded. It'll be 3rd down and very long.
That's when you go down. You know, don't take a big hit. I always told our players, I know there's a toughness in you where you got to struggle and get that yardage, but don't take a big hit.
3rd down and 23 to go here for Broken Arrow. Inside a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers split left. That's Spears and Barnett both out there together. Talley split right. Here's the snap. Raines wants to throw. He's hit immediately from the backside and brought down for a loss of about 7 back to the 43-yard line.
He just ran the edge. Good quickness on that young man. He just ran the edge and beat the tackle.
Went right by him. The unfortunate thing about that is now not only did you not have took yourself out of a chance to score, you're moving the field position battle in Jenks' favor also. You don't even really have a chance to pin it deep.
We were close to the red zone. I mean, inside the 40 to the other 40.
Now, the good news is the quarter is going to expire, so the Tigers will have the wind for the remainder of the ball game, and especially, to punt the ball here. 31-30, Jenks leads as we head to the 4th quarter. We'll take a break. Back with more in a moment. This is Tiger Football on ArrowVision.
For families who like to build their wealth while staying liquid, we have flexible rate CDs.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours. And TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Just a reminder, there will come a time when they can no longer share a bedroom. That's why we have a complete array of home loans, so that dream of more space can come true. Right on time. First National Bank of Broken Arrow. The right balance.
Welcome back as we start the fourth quarter. Broken Arrow trails by a point and is punting it away, and a good kick is caught at the 20-yard line. A fair catch called for. And that is where Jenks will start 1st and 10. And Spav, we've seen the script flip here. Broken Arrow scored on its first 4 drives, 3 drives and a block kick, while holding Jenks without a score on its first 3 drives, but the Trojans have scored on 5 consecutive possessions.
I know. We can't have that. You know, we're playing such good defense, and now all of a sudden, you know, we're giving up these big plays and stuff. We just can't allow that.
Jenks had a net gain of 18 yards in their first 3 drives combined.
That's right.
It's not
Remember
even
that 1 yard throwing, I think.
It's not even that the Tiger defense was playing well. It's that it was dominating Jenks over those first 3 drives, and it's just completely flipped around.
I know.
We have a whistle from the far sideline. Let's go down to Ryan Wyckoff, who's got an update for us. Ryan?
Yeah, so what the Broken Arrow coaches are arguing about is basically he caught the ball in the hash, and that the Jenks team is taking the ball in the middle of the field. So they are talking about whether that should be on the far side for you guys. Hash.
Okay, yeah, he fair caught it over there on the far side, and sure enough, the officials are going to move the ball back over there. Ryan, you also were mentioning a moment ago you might have an injury update for us.
Yeah, you'll notice Dietrich Moore, number 17, who we thought may have come off with a cramp. He came out with no pads and a helmet, so he will not be playing in the rest of the game. Not
ideal. Wishing him well moving forward, certainly. The defense is out there and needs to stop. 1st and 10 for Jenks. They hand it off straight up the middle. And a solid run for Lohr, 10 yards and a first down. And I tell you what, Jaden Patrick is clearly the emotional driver of this team right now. He is animated and fired up about every success, whether it's his or somebody else's. That'll be a first down for Jenks. 1st and 10 from its own 31-yard line. The Trojans lead by a point here with 11:45 to go in the fourth quarter. The Tiger defense looking for its first stop in 5 attempts.
That was just a bullnose type run. I mean, he's tough.
One receiver split out to the right. That's Will Mulready. One receiver left as well. Tight end left. Shotgun. Here's the snap. Handoff to Lohr, right side. Tripped up as he stammers through the line of scrimmage. But goodness gracious, Spav, the offensive line moved the line of scrimmage about 5 yards on that play. It's a gain of 6.
Well, they're showing the ball going to one side, and then they're bringing the fullback over, and then the running back is coming back. So it's like a split zone, and they're getting a lot of success with it.
You're going to have to find a way to not let that line of scrimmage shift so far up front. 2nd down and 4. Here's the snap. Handoff to Lohr, left side. Busts through the hole. It's another first down as he has a defender drag him down. A gain of 7 yards or so out to the 46-yard line, and Jenks again threatening to get into Tiger territory.
And you notice how patient the running back was. You know, we were winning the battles, but he was patient enough to just find that seam.
Gain of 7.
First down and 10 Jenks from its own 46-yard line. Moving left to right, the Trojans lead by a point. Now the positive thing here is if Jenks does go get in the end zone, unless they go for 2, it'll still be a 1-possession game. Here's the snap. Fake pitch. Now they're rolling it right.
So he wants to get
Throws
that
it over
tight
the
end.
middle. It's caught. Adams inside the 40-yard line and cut down at around the 36. But a flag on the far side of the field at the line of scrimmage, and we've got an illegal man downfield for the Trojans this time.
Yeah.
Remember, that was the penalty that wiped a touchdown off the board for the Tigers a little while ago that would have given Broken Arrow the lead back, and now it comes back to bite Jenks.
Oh, nice, nice.
Ineligible man downfield is the call against the Trojans.
They'll back it up 5 yards to the 41-yard line of Jenks. First and 15, and here's a huge chance, Spav. You've got Jenks behind the chains because of the penalty. This is a big play here on first down.
Absolutely. The whole deal with in a situation like this, because you're going to get penalties, holding calls on first down, is just their whole goal has got to be try to get the first down. Don't try to score, just get a first down.
Bunch set left, now motion into the backfield. Here's the snap. They hand it off to Lohr, trying the left side. Solid hole. He's got a good run on first down across midfield and into Tiger territory around the 49-yard line. That's a gain of about 10 and brings up second down and 5, and the advantage gone there on first and 15.
The amount of yards after contact is unbelievable. I guarantee you he went 5 yards with like 4 of our guys on him.
The Tiger defense on its heels a little bit right now. Second down and 5 for Jenks. Got to make some sort of play to stymie the momentum here.
They're mixing up the way they're moving their tight end and the direction. See, right now we're coming
Here
pretty
comes
hard.
Pressure. Lohr with room over the left side, though. First down inside the 40-yard line and tackled around the 36. Another good gain. That's about another 12, 13 yards there and a first down for Jenks.
Well, and ran it in the boundary. We're showing blitz from the field, and he just followed his tight end. It was in motion and hit it right up to the seam to the weak side, into the boundary.
The battle up front being won by the Trojans right now. 31-30, Jenks leading. 8:40 to go here in the fourth quarter. Ball on the Broken Arrow 36-yard line. The wind has laid down a little bit as well. Bunch left, one receiver to either side, motion into the backfield. Here's the snap.
There's
they hand it
that
off to
same
Lohr,
play.
right side, and a huge hole inside the 25-yard line, knocked down sideways. Another gain of about 14 for Lohr.
That's that same play. They're just they're running like a split zone. They're running it one way and
Lohr's gained more
cutting
than
it back.
Lohr's gained more than 180 yards now.
Well, the thing is, we're in a 3-down lineman right now. We need to get that 4th lineman in there like we have been and to really help solidify the run.
Jenks is approaching the Broken Arrow red zone. 8 minutes to go in the game. Trojans lead by a point. First and 10 from the Broken Arrow 22-yard line. One receiver split left, that's Walls. One receiver split right. Now motion into the backfield. Here's the snap, direct snap to Lohr, and he sidesteps a man at the 20-yard line, cutting back to the left side. He's cut down at the 16. He had the angle. That was Johnson that had the stop,
yeah.
but it's a gain of 6.
Yeah, he needed to hit that. He needed to make that tackle. That was going to score.
Second down.
Second down and 4 from the Broken Arrow 17 now. A couple of defensive substitutions here for the Tigers. Broken Arrow student section has traveled and is seated along the 10-yard line on the far sideline, so they're trying to make what difference they can right now. Ball near the left hash, 2 receivers right for Jenks, tight end left.
So
Shotgun set.
We've got 4 down linemen in now.
Here's the snap. Lohr
he
initially
bounced it.
bottled up, bounces it out to the left side, and he is inside the 5, diving for the pylon. Oh, they say he stepped out of bounds all the way back at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, good.
It'll be first and goal from the 7, but that was a very strong run from Lohr, who was really closed up at the beginning.
Yeah. Tight end couldn't move his block, and the double team couldn't move his block. Forced him to bounce.
Here's a lineman coming out of the game for Jenks. That could make a difference.
Well, one of the biggest difference there is we went to 4 down linemen. When you go to 4 down linemen, it's tougher on the offensive line. That's why, of course, he bounced it. Now, that secondary and linebackers got to make those plays.
Jinx only has 6 seconds on the play clock as they break the huddle. They may have to take a timeout here. They're still not set. 2 seconds, 1 second. The ball is snapped. I don't think the Trojans were set, but they allowed to run the play anyway. It's a gain of 4 down inside to about the 3-yard line. That was really cutting it close for Jinx. 6:40 remaining.
And that was just a cutback play right there.
Brings up 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Jinx leading by a point. The Tigers trying to come up with a crucial stop here. Even if you hold it to a field goal, you get it to where a touchdown puts you in the lead.
Yeah. You've got to make them kick a field goal here.
2nd down and 4. One receiver split left. Tight end to either side, as a matter of fact. Although the left side tight end is off the line of scrimmage. Motion into the backfield. Here's the snap. They hand it off. Right side. Bottled up was Forbes, and he doesn't have a lot of room. Maybe a gain of a couple feet, but that's it. And it will bring up 3rd down and goal from just outside the 3-yard line.
Very nice. Well, you know, they condensed their splits, and we're running 4-down linemen, so we've condensed our – there's no space. You got to – you know, the game of football is to try to create space.
Now what that will do is it puts a lot of pressure on those defenders on the outside to be very technically sound in their responsibilities. 3rd down and goal from the 3.
They've still reduced their formation.
Fullback left, tight end right. Here's the snap. They hand it off on the end around, coming to the near side. He's bottled up, trying to dive for the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Jinx. Jaden Patrick took the end around and used every bit of field he had to get the ball in the end zone. And Jinx goes up 7 with the point after attempt on its way.
Well, it was a good play call, really, because, you know, they condensed the formation again. We condensed ours, and they weren't going to beat us by running the ball in there. They hit it on the edge to create space.
This would make it an 8-point game, which is still a 1-possession ball game. Snap back, ball down, kick on the way. And it is good. 38-30, 5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Jinx leading Broken Arrow. And the Tigers needing a score now, down by 8. Jinx now with 479 yards of offense in the game. Grant Lohr has run it for nearly 200 yards. Stephen Kittleman has thrown it for 266.
Yeah.
And now the biggest drive of the game coming up for Broken Arrow. Tigers dominating all 3 phases of this game early, but Jinx has really turned it around since the end of the first quarter. Jinx outscoring Broken Arrow 38-20.
That's the big difference there. And then some crucial penalties that we had, and
then BA still holds a major advantage in the penalties category.
Yeah.
4 for 25 compared to 8 for 60 for Jinx, but those 3 of those penalties came back to back to back, and instead of Broken Arrow threatening to get into the red zone, they ended up having to punt from well within their own territory.
But not being able to throw the ball when you need to throw the ball. I mean, you know, the throws that we had open or the play action or the trickery type plays with the back out, the backfield, you know, we did a good job on those. And, you know, he does a great job mixing those in, Coach Wilkinson does. But when you get down to the point where you have to sit back and throw the football, we don't really have those answers.
Unfortunately, Raines didn't have much time in those situations.
Exactly.
Horn, Williams, Barnett back to receive. The kick is in the air, heading the direction of Williams. He'll catch it at the 9-yard line, working towards us right now. Cuts back to the left. Has a little bit of a gap, but it closes up quickly. Initially, it looked like he had an edge, but they were able to get off the blockers, and Broken Arrow will start from around its own 27-yard line.
Cuts out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 1st down, Tigers.
Stieber heading over to the huddle after blocking on the kick return there. They do mark it at the 27 on the left hash, and that's where the Tigers will start 1st and 10.
Yeah, and 3 timeouts, 5 minutes. Let's go. Well, let's get the drive. Let's don't get cute. Just play Broken Arrow football.
No reason to do anything other than your normal offense right here.
Exactly.
2 receivers to either side, an empty set. Now they motion Marion Horn to the backfield. Tight end to the right is Stieber. Here's the snap, handoff to Horn, right side. Steps inside of one man, but he's wrapped up and brought down for no gain. Horn just not with a lot of room there.
And that's that off-tackle stretch play, and it's just a great play for us. It's been a great play.
One thing we talked about near the beginning of the game was the energy that the Tigers came out with. We're not seeing as much of that right now over on the far sideline. The Tigers had to figure out a way to kind of wake the noise back up a little bit.
Exactly.
2 receivers right, 1 left. Stieber, the tight end, left on second down and a short 10 yards. Raines wants to throw, looking right, zips it up the right side, and it is just behind the intended target. It looked like that was Barnett on the wheel route over there.
He did a good job throwing the football there, too. He had a lot of pressure on him. They sent the backer in there, too, so they're sending 6 at him.
And another play call that resulted in an opportunity. The play was there, just not quite able to connect. 3rd down and 9 coming up here for Broken Arrow. And they mismarked the football. Boy, you don't see that very often. The line judge on the far side had said, no, you need to move that up a yard. 3rd and 9. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Here's the snap. Raines, 4 guys rushing, has some time, tucks it, and he gets brought down at the line of scrimmage. The pocket collapsed on him late. It looked like he was going to have an opportunity to scamper through there, but Chase Jackson got off of his block to make the tackle, and the Tigers will have to punt with just over 4 minutes remaining.
Because Jay can run with his feet now. He can run.
And there was some space there if he gets through that pocket.
Not very many quarterbacks can step up in the hole and be pretty dangerous. Now, he is dangerous when he steps up.
The problem is now that you had to punt it away, you are behind the 8 ball.
Yes.
Laura's been running rough shot, 8.5 yards a carry. The punt is away. It's a good kick. Wobbling, hits inside the 40 and takes
bounce.
A big time Broken Arrow bounce inside the 25, and it'll be down just outside the Jenks 20. That was a phenomenal kick.
Just changed field position. Great job.
Now you have to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
3:37 to go. Broken Arrow has all 3 timeouts, but you can allow maybe 1 first down, and that's about it. Other than that, you got to get a stop and get the ball back.
Well, this is a situation I used to practice all the time where we got to get the ball back. Defensively, this is a situation you got to get the ball back and all this stuff, to get the next point. I mean, this is a situation for both sides. That's really important because right now, defensively, we got to take chances. There's got to be a lot of chances.
You got to take chances, but it's also very much gut check time for the defense. This is a chance. You've struggled here in the second half, but this is a chance to step up to the plate and give your team a chance to win the game.
Absolutely. I mean, here they are on the 20. We need the ball back right now. You got to take some chances. Try to get that lost yardage plays. Do some things, but with 3:37 left, you got to be a little, like you said, you could give up 1 first down in there.
How taking chances is risky at any point in time.
Absolutely.
But you've got a spot here
where
we
need the ball back.
You need the ball back. You're going to have to take chances. How do you get 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old young men to balance being aggressive but also staying in their heads and making sure they're taking care of their assignments?
Yeah. No, what I mean by aggressive defensively, they're going to have to do some blitzing. They're going to have to do some things that are going to be quite unusual that you would do down in this zone on the field. You don't want to be real risky there, but you're going to have to be a little risky because you want to try to create lost yardage or a potential turnover.
Lohr is not on the field to start this drive. Instead, it's Griffin Forbes in the backfield to the left of Stephen Kittleman in the shotgun. Here's the snap on 1st and 10. They hand it to Forbes, cuts it up the middle, and he's got a hole across the 30, out to the 34-yard line. First down for Jenks on the first play of the drive. That immediately moves the chains. Out out to the 34-yard line. Not what you were hoping for on the first play of the drive there for Broken Arrow defensively.
Yeah, and they're winding the clock right now. So
the timeout notebook will certainly be out, but you don't want to get into him just yet with over 3 minutes still to play.
Yeah.
Jenks has run a lot of time off the play clock generally anyway in this game.
See, they're down to 5 seconds now.
2 receivers right, 2 tight ends bunched left. They won't have time to flip the formation here. Here's the snap. They hand it off to Forbes, trying the right side. He's bottled up and brought down for no gain, and that's the kind of play you needed. The question is, will Coach Alexander elect to use his first timeout? Not yet, it would appear. They gave him a yard on the play, 2nd and 9.
You know, and as Jenks, they're thinking is they get a first down, they win the game. You know, with us, we've got to get the ball back right now. Now we're doing good because it's 2nd long. But the problem is they're milking the clock. This is what we used to call 5th quarter. 5th quarter is just where the offense milks the clock.
2nd down and 9. 1 receiver split to either side. 4 down linemen for the Tigers. 2 tight ends motion from left to right. 5 seconds on the play clock. Kittleman waiting, and now takes the snap. Hands it off to Forbes, trying the right side. Hit at the line of scrimmage, wrapped up from behind, and Seth Dodd drags him down for a gain of maybe a foot. David Alexander immediately takes a timeout, and that brings up 3rd down and 8.
That's
and
it.
What we've seen, Spav, on this drive that we've not seen really since the first quarter is the defensive line standing up, staying in those gaps, and they've allowed the linebackers to come in and fit. Then that hasn't really been happening much recently. Those guys are stepping up to the plate on this drive.
I agree, but we're using the 4 down lineman, which is really helping us. We've been usually a 3 down lineman, and then they've been attacking the stand-up guy. You know, here, you know, with the 4 down lineman, you're absolutely right. They're using their hands, they're staying in their gaps, they're actually making really good plays at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 8 with 2:06 to go. It's an 8-point game. Jenks leading 38-30. And the Trojans have flipped the script on the Tigers since the first quarter. But a big chance to get a stop here, give the offense the ball back with a chance to go and tie the game up and force overtime.
Yeah, it's, you know, here it's 3rd down. You know, they have to get a first down to win the game. If not, we get the ball back. 2 timeouts.
And that's almost certainly, I mean, you have to be prepared for the pass, but I would expect Jenks to run it here to force Broken Arrow to use that 2nd timeout, even if they don't, get the first down.
Well, but they're having a lot of success running the football too. And they're in the formation to do it too.
2 tight ends and a fullback were split
they
left.
Got the edge
now they
here.
switch to the right. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Motion to the backfield. Here's the snap. They hand it off over the far side. Forbes trying to find the edge, and he won't get there.
Yes.
He's swallowed up by a couple of defenders and brought down for a loss of a couple yards.
Great defense.
David Alexander takes his 2nd timeout with 1:55 to go. The Trojans face 4th and 10, and will have to punt the ball away. Darian Moss is down on the far side of the field. He made the tackle.
God, that's great defense there.
We've not
needed
called
that.
Moss's name a whole lot tonight. Looks like his shoulder a little bit banged up.
I understand their thinking, but, you know, when they changed the strength of the formation, they had the edge to the boundary. They had the edge and the numbers. See, you could see they had all the numbers
Sure
here.
enough. We're getting to see the replay right now, and they had him out.
You know, we're giving them
outnumbered
the edge.
significantly.
And they chose to go where we have a lot of players, and that just really made a good defensive stop for us.
Also, I didn't for sure catch a number of who it was over the far side, but there was a defensive back that came through and really blew that play up early on and forced Forbes to bounce that further outside. I believe that was Sterling Ramsey who came through and forced that further up the field. Seth Dodd was involved in that as well. And that allowed the rest of the defense to flow over there a little bit further and
exactly
for sure stymie that play. So credit to Dodd and Ramsey for getting in there and doing that also. 38-30, Jenks leads, and the injured Tiger has been helped off the field here. So the punt on its way. The Tigers have already blocked one. Marion Horn is back deep to return. The important thing here, though, is to get the football
We're
back.
going to block it, too. Watch. Look at us.
Dot at the line of
Coming
scrimmage. The
after
snap was high. The punt is away up the near side, and it will hit at the 40-yard line. It takes a Trojan bounce inside the 30, inside the 25, and spins sideways.
punt.
It'll be down at the 24-yard line, but the Tigers have a minute and 45 seconds to drive the field, put this ball in the end zone, and
With
get a
only
two-point
one
conversion.
timeout, too. With only one timeout. So these are the times when, we said before where you need to practice that 2-minute offense. You need to practice getting the ball out of bounds and understanding how the clock moves. That's important. If you don't practice those in games, early games especially, you're not very good at it.
Keep in mind, this is district game number 1. A win here would be huge. Here's the snap on 1st and 10. Handoff to Horn over the right side. He's got nothing. Dropped at the line of scrimmage.
They didn't get the cutback sealed. He's looking for the cutback. We didn't get it sealed, and he made the play.
Jenks a little slow to get up here. One of the players is down.
He may be cramping.
Can't quite tell who it is. I think maybe Adams. It looks like number 1.
Yeah, he's cramping.
1:29 to go. And that will give Broken Arrow the opportunity to go to the huddle and talk things over here. The commitment to the run game, certainly the Tigers have had success with that in this game. Sanchez Banks is averaging more than 9 yards a carry. And if you're able to steal that cutback lane, then there's a good chance you bust that for a decent gain. But it went against the Tigers there, and Broken Arrow up against it time-wise now with just 90 seconds to go. 2nd down and 10. One receiver split to the left side is Keon Barnett. He is not, check that. That is Spears Jennings. Barnett is in the slot, far side. Stieber, the tight end, is split out on the far side as well, and then Talley is out on the numbers to the right. Here's the snap on 2nd and 10. Wants to throw. Rains looking right, scrambling through the line of scrimmage. He's got some room across the 30-yard line, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 38-yard line.
First down.
That's pretty ideal for the Tigers there. You can move the chains, and you get out of bounds to stop the clock.
I thought they were going to have him, and he came up he just stepped up in the pocket and he just took off.
That's what we thought was going to happen earlier on the play.
He's good with his feet.
A big first down there for Broken Arrow. You got a minute and 16 seconds, and really you just have to make sure you get into striking distance to where you can throw the ball to the end zone if it comes right down to it. 2 receiver split left to the wide side of the field. Tight end left as well on 1st and 10. Rains wants to throw it, zips to the far side, and it is caught by Spears Jennings. It was nearly intercepted.
Nice catch.
It's a gain of about 4, but he got out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock. Boy, that was very close.
It's like he took it away from him.
I think he did. I think he legitimately did. I'm not sure that it wasn't initially picked off, and then Spears Jennings just took it away.
Yeah, it was right there with both of them, yeah. Great catch.
Certainly we're jostling for it. 2nd down and 6 now for Broken Arrow. Barnett split out in the slot left side. Talley outside the hash. Stieber, the tight end, right now motions to the left side. 1:10 remaining. It's an 8-point deficit for Broken Arrow. Here's the snap. Rains looking over the middle. Fires it over the middle. It is tipped, incomplete.
I'm not quite sure who he's throwing to there, but had a lot of pressure on him.
He was looking for Stieber. It was broken up by Ethan Bilgreen. It brings up 3rd down and 6 for Broken Arrow.
Coach Gaylor, defense coordinator for Jenks, he's just big in these zone pressures. He's going to pressure you. And here it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 6, so.
2 receivers left, 1 right, tight end left on 3rd and 6. Rains dumps it off over the right side, screen, pass it up for Horn, and he's got blockers in front of him across midfield. Wrapped up around the ankle and brought down at the 45-yard line with 56 seconds to play.
What a great call.
Absolutely. 1st and 10 for the Tigers inside Jenks territory, down by 8 with less than a minute to go. First district game of the year. Sanchez Banks wanted to come on the field, now sprints off the far sideline. Same formation on 1st and 10. Rains wants to throw, zips it far side, caught and spun down out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
No, they've winded the clock.
Range pass to R.J. Spears-Jennings. Complete on the stop of the Trojans.
Sure enough, the official signaled for out of bounds. Now they're going to get it straightened out because the official on the far side signaled out of bounds.
Yeah.
They should put, probably a good 10 to 15 seconds back on.
At least. 45, do you say?
That would be a 12-second ad. That seems about right.
Oh,
they
just
put
40
40.
seconds?
Boy, that's incorrect. There
That's
was way
7
more than 7
seconds?
seconds that went off on that.
Oh, yeah.
At least they got some time back, though. Second down and about 3 coming up for Broken Arrow from the Jenks 39-yard line. Same formation, 2 receivers and a tight end left on the wide side of the field. Maybe it was supposed to be 45 because the official has come back over to look towards the press box. The referee still looking up towards the press box.
44.
44. Okay, that sounds about right. Now the Jenks sideline is asking about something. And the official just looked back up again and made another signal. The referee did. So I think we're still trying to get the clock set to the proper time. The clock still says 44 seconds. Now it's gone up to 48, so they went all the way back up to 48.
Awesome.
Okay.
I like this official.
Same formation, 2 receivers and a tight end left on 2nd and 3. Reigns immediately under pressure, guts away
Good
from
job.
it, zips it. It's caught. A first down for Barnett inside to the 31-yard line. He's brought down, but it's first down yardage. That will stop the clock. With 39 seconds remaining, Ryan Wyckoff on the sidelines.
Unbelievable one-handed catch by Sanchez Banks. I'll throw it back up to you. Quick play.
2 receivers right, 1 left on first down and 10. Under center is Reigns, and he spikes the football to stop the clock with 34 seconds remaining. And the Tigers are at the 31-yard line of the Jenks Trojans.
God, that was a good play by Reigns.
Reigns was able to escape what looked like a certain sack.
Oh, I thought he was sacked.
Zipped a throw out of his right arm, and Keon Barnett, while running towards the far sideline, spun around backwards and reached one hand back and caught it. 2 receivers left, including Barnett in the slot, 1 right on 2nd down and 10 from the 31. Less than 40 seconds to go. Reigns over the far side, caught inside the 25-yard line and dropped down head first at the 21, near the first down marker, but not quite. And what are the Tigers going to do here? The clock is on the move at 20 seconds. 3rd down and 1. Reigns takes the snap, looking, throwing it. No, pump fakes.
Oh, no.
Trying to scramble forward. He's brought down. It's close to a first down. That'll make a big difference. The clock will stop. 9 seconds to go.
A.J. Brown on the stop. Also Chase Jackson and Coleman third.
I think David Alexander took a timeout. Play was short of the line to gain. Broken Arrow has taken its final timeout with 9 seconds remaining. 4th down and inches, but
gosh,
that's not the huge issue right now. So the question becomes, do you go for the end zone now, or do you throw a 4-yard out and try to move the chains and give yourself a chance?
That's a great question, but they're allowing us to throw the short underneath routes. He doesn't want to get beat deep. So, double moves aren't going to work, shouldn't work. I mean, but he's going to keep everything underneath. He doesn't care if you get first down.
The one deep man at safety is Joey Haver, who's 6'3", and they've got a blanket over the back of this defense here. Reigns under pressure, rolling right, has to throw it, fires it away, and he threw it away.
Good. Oh, it was 4th down.
It was 4th down.
Oh, I wasn't thinking on that one.
4th and 1, and that'll end the game. Jenks will be able to take a knee and run out the clock with just 3 seconds left.
He was probably thinking just like me. Bless his heart.
He may not have realized that they hadn't achieved a first down on that last play. Or it could be that the ball slipped out of his hands and he wasn't intending to throw it away. It could be that he was just on the move, had to try to throw it as far as he could, and it just slipped out of his hand. Because he was certainly under pressure. He had to buy enough time to allow his receivers to get down to the end zone. And Jenks is going to come away with a 38-30 victory. The Trojans will be able to take a knee. Broken Arrow was dominating every facet of this game in the first quarter, which is in some ways encouraging for the future and and certainly disappointing for the way this game turned out.
Oh, gosh, I know.
Kittleman under center, takes the knee, and that'll end the ball game. 38-30, Jenks hands Broken Arrow its second loss of the year, snaps the Tigers' 3-game winning streak against the Trojans. Would have been 4.
Oh.
Moves them to 51-30 all-time against Broken Arrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out.
Boy, that game just made me exhausted. I mean, I'm fired up, and then then it became a ball game, and then, gosh.
A bit of a roller coaster.
Then a heartbreaker.
The Tigers, again, had a chance to come back and tie it, and it's just like Coach Alexander said at halftime. It was going to come down to who was going to make a play late, and frankly, the Jenks made the plays late to get it done.
Exactly.
Taking a look at some of the numbers here, Jenks with 490 yards of offense.
The bottom line is we couldn't throw the football. We didn't throw the football. They had 266 yards throwing to our 76. I mean, we've got to learn to throw the football.
I'm trying to look at second half statistics for the Tigers. 49 pass yards, 93 rush yards in the second half. All 4 penalties coming in the second half for Broken Arrow. 33% on third down in the second half for the Tigers compared to 60% in the first half. And then defensively, Broken Arrow just allowed 1 conversion on 4 attempts for Jenks in the first half. And in the second half, the Trojans were 2 for 3. And they went for a long span there where they didn't have a third down attempt anyway because they were moving the ball so well. But just a lot of things flipped around in that second half of play and went against Broken Arrow.
Jenks have struggled getting the third down conversions, and we did too, but it's, we just got to be able to establish a throwing game somehow.
And one of the encouraging things, at least from my perspective, that we saw late there is the defense, when it needed to, bowed up and got a stop. Gave the offense a chance to at least come back and tie the game. And I do think that the special teams aspect of the game, I think overall still the Tigers clearly won that battle in that portion of the game. So there will be some things to learn from that, and it hurts because it's a district loss, but overall there are some positives to take from this one. Ryan Wyckoff, let's go down to you on the sidelines. We talked early in the game about the energy that you saw on the sidelines. That seemed to dwindle as the game went along. Did any of that come back towards the end there when the Tigers were trying to make a run and get that game tied up?
There were a couple plays I think that had the potential to do that, but I think that the Tigers were looking for a play. I think they were looking for something to get them going back. It was interesting coming out of half. I did see a lack of energy. I wonder how many games there are where I think halftime may have actually kind of killed the momentum. I know Jenks was kind of coming back, but they just didn't come out with that same energy. And I could tell at the very beginning something I saw a little bit. They were trying to push the tempo a little bit on that running play where I believe Sanchez Banks broke that. That was a tempo play, and so I think they just couldn't get into a rhythm, and really that excitement that we saw at the beginning didn't seem to come back there in the second half like it was.
Yeah, rhythm I think is the buzzword that stands out to me, Ryan. And Spav, you'd think about the rhythm of that first quarter. Everything was happening pretty quick.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to be happening in the right amount of time for Broken Arrow, whether it be that the quick change on the punt block, and they got the momentum on the field goal. And Broken Arrow really never could find much rhythm after that. Certainly offensively, weren't able to really extend drives and keep drives going. And then defensively, it just kind of felt like everything was happening to the Tigers instead of them dictating what Jenks was trying to do offensively.
And, and that's a great point, because a lot of it is, we were getting good field position and scoring quick. But the problem is Jenks would get the football and they'd keep it. The possession time was unbelievable. What's crazy about the teams that we face is it's like almost a quarter of play.
Mm-hmm.
More
eight
than
minutes difference tonight.
Yeah, and that's tonight. But overall, I think it happens all the time, is we got to quit letting these teams keep the ball. We've got to get them. We got to win that possession time.
And there's clearly a couple of guys on the Broken Arrow sideline kind of broken up right now and frustrated, and
they should be. They had it.
There's a reason for them to feel that way. But here's the thing, and you know this certainly better than I do because you've been coaching on Oklahoma sidelines for so long. It's not about the disappointment. It's about how you react to that disappointment and how you build off of that moving forward.
No doubt. And, it's just like my boys. My boys are winning some heartbreakers. They should be 4-0, but they're 1-3. And just, they miss an extra point to win the game at the end. They lose on a last-second field goal. They're driving to win, and they throw a pick in the end zone. I mean, these are things that – you have to overcome, and how you react later is absolutely right, what you're saying. It's so important for these kids to get up, shake it off, and let's go to the next game.
One thing that I did like that we heard about from Coach Alexander earlier in the week was seeing Sanchez Banks and Marion Horn on the field together. Mm-hmm. We saw that several times, and on one occasion, Sanchez Banks broke a big run. On one occasion, Marion Horn had a big touchdown reception. So
absolutely.
I feel like the more we can see them on the field together, the better.
Oh, is that not dangerous?
Oh, it's a lot of fun because anything can happen at that point, certainly. So.
What a dangerous offense to have is when you have those two out there.
The final score tonight, 38-30. Jenks wins it over Broken Arrow. The Tigers fall to 2-2 on the year because we haven't had that. We missed that fifth game in there. So 2-2 on the year. Jenks improving to 3-1. The Tigers will be back in action next week, so we'll be looking forward to having that game for you. But a setback here to open district play for Broken Arrow, and we'll have to see how the Tigers rebound moving forward. For Ryan Wyckoff down on the sidelines, Steve Spavital up here in the booth, I'm Adam Hildebrandt saying good night and God bless from Jenks.